A little bit earlier than expected, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of a surprise to all and sundry, not least me, actually, quite frankly. As we say, a very good evening to you, everybody. Nice to have you company wherever you're tuning in all around Australia or indeed the world. Welcome along to the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club to this fourth week edition of Thursday Night Motorsport on the fourth and final term of 2025. And we welcome you into the Interlargos circuit in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, more specifically. The scene and setting for the latest race in the Disruptive Labs GT4 series. And this is, of course, a 40-minute race ahead of the third consecutive sprint round in as many weeks for the PanTec Industries Porsche Cup. And that'll be coming to you from, if you don't mind, the Road Atlanta circuit in Atlanta, Georgia. Zach Cabin and Daniel Correas are with you. Welcome along. It's terrific to have you here. We've got a bit of time to kill off the top tonight, so let's remind you that as we go this evening, we get to go around the grounds. I'm so excited that we're finally into cricket season. Hello to Adam Richards. I was not going to cause issues for you all. His memo to us this evening. What, was he in the server? No, I can't see him there. First up, let's get an update from the cricket out of the road at the Adelaide Oval. Australia, they are chasing India's total, which, of course, they batted earlier in the day, the Indians, as part of the second one-day international. Australia won up in this series, and India posted 9 for 264. The Australians, in response, are sitting at 1 for 31 with Mitch Marsh, the first batsman, dismissed. Updates from there throughout the course of the evening. By the time we're done with the Porsches, we'll be getting close to crunch time, to the business end of that second ODI. And if, of course, if you're lucky enough to have Fox or KO, you can follow along with that from the comfort of your lounge, whilst also keeping an eye on us, ladies and gentlemen. Multi-screen sports bar type setup tonight. Us on one screen, cricket on the other. Leave the cricket on mute, listen to the car racing. Zach Cabin alongside Daniel Correas across. Are we back on both platforms tonight, Daniel? Because we certainly weren't on Monday night. Adam had all sorts of issues due to an SDK update. We were locked out of Facebook altogether on Monday night. So we're back across Facebook and YouTube, the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. The fact that we've got comments coming through on the right-hand side of your screen is a good sign that things are back to where they would normally be after not being able to engage with those comments as they appeared on the screen throughout the course of the night. We had to have the YouTube stream open manually. Now, let's get a couple of other bits of housekeeping out of the way first up. Firstly, we've got still 8 minutes left in this qualifying session. I don't mind the prompt, punctual eagerness of my colleague here, because prompt and punctual is not something I'm used to this time of the year, because I live north of the border, where they're 112 years and 1 hour behind. So to be early for something is a nice change of pace. We're on air about 10 minutes earlier than we would normally be, and therefore I was caught a little bit off guard. I was in the middle of having a chat with Zuno, and next minute I'm getting the countdown in my ear. We do it with thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, PanTec Industries, Sprite Insider, merch.GSRC.inc, and Flash Graphics. Now, as far as the championship standings are concerned in GT4, let's have a look at that and remind you of who's doing what at this particular point in time. Andrew Dyson, 144 points to the good so far in this series, and he's done that on the back of some very fine performances so far, including cleaning up the I'm just trying to remember the sequence of events here, ladies and gentlemen. We had our first sprint round of the season last week, that's right, and he was first in the first race there and won the first race and the only race of the week before at Road Atlanta. He was third in the feature race. He was second for the round. The winner of the round last week was Jackson Rayhana, who sits fourth in the point standings at the moment. Ryan Jones sits second after a dramatic outing for him in Charlotte, North Carolina last week. 144 plays, 127 and 103. Guy Leach there in third place at the moment. Three different manufacturers in the top three. It is really good to see. John Merritt sits fifth at the moment, and I can tell you that there are 23 cars on this grid this evening. It'll be interesting to see how many of them, A, take the start, and B, finish the damn thing. Just having a look beyond that, John Merritt only 3 points behind Jackson Ray Hunter. Jonathan Harris 89, so too Richard King. Sam Chapman on 80 points, Adam Lavis and Jeff Adams make up the top 10. Jeff Adams is part of the Ford 1, 2, 3 in qualifying at the moment. Jackson Ray Hunter's just gone top of the timesheets, 139.294, and displaced the DKR Racing front-runner Andrew Dyson in the process. Jeff Adams, Richard King and Tony Baker, the top 5. Only one Aston in that top 5 at the moment. 2 Porsches in the top 10. 8 Mustangs in the top 11. Having looked down through the field, no love for the BMW tonight. Yes, there's a Mercedes out there. Yes, there's a couple of McLarens out there, but absolutely no BMWs, which is interesting to see. Great to see the new Mustang getting some love in GT4, not surprising. And there's Jackson Ray Hunter coming undone on the follow-up lap to what was the pole setting time benchmark for this point of the session. So he's gone top of the timesheets and was not able to go on with it. He'll reset and have another crack before the end of the session, I'm sure. Dan, good evening to you. Looking forward to this one. Jackson Ray Hunter is going to look to give Andrew Dyson a run for his money, and Jeff Adams in the mix as well, which is good to see. But those top 2 have got more than 3 tenths on the rest of the pack. But what we're going to be interested in tonight is strategy, because we're back to 40-minute racing.
Yeah, thank you, Zach. Yeah, I agree. Jackson Ray Hunter is obviously showing some really good pace out the front there, 139.293 currently for a provisional pole. Andrew Dyson's always shown to be quite fast here in the GT4s. But yes, a good add there is Jeff Adams, who kind of lacked a little bit in the first couple of rounds, but it looks like he sort of grabbed his footing with that Mustang. Obviously, there's something about the Mustang, because 1, 2, 3 seems like an odd coincidence. Then you've got Richard King, also part of subpar there in the Aston Martin, who's making that work. Not a lot of people like the Aston Martin GT4. They tend to pick other cars, so it's good to see Richard sticking with it and making it work for him up at the front there. So yeah, overwhelming majority of Ford Mustangs there, and Porsches seem to be the 2 big choices. And then a couple of McLarens there, 1 Mercedes, 1 Aston. So like you said, no love for the BMW.
None at all, which is interesting, because we had a lot of love for the Bimmer as well as the Aston and the Ford in GT3 on Monday night. So there's only 2/3 of that correlation going from Monday to Thursday. Don't forget too, folks, tomorrow night is open wheel night on the platforms of Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and we're with you from 8:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for that one, as the Road to Indy Series hits the Red Bull Ring. So tonight you got South and North America on the schedule. Tomorrow night, Europe. Fair bit of continent hopping this week, considering we've also had a stop in our own backyard with the Toyotas at the Bend the other night. And I have to say, well done to the Toyotas. They've actually given me a little bit of faith and a little bit of belief in that circuit, that particular layout of that particular circuit. It goes back to what I've been saying for weeks on end about it, that it's one of those circuits that is car dependent upon whatever you put on the racetrack, whether you're going to get a good spectacle or not. The Toyotas were brilliant on Monday night, so well done to all and sundry there. Jackson Ray Hunter, Andrew Dyson, Jeff Adams, Tony Baker, 4 Fords in the top 5, Richard King, the unknown entity and all that in the Aston. But it's, again, it's interesting because the Ford's the new toy in GT4, the Aston's the new toy in GT3. They're both equally prominent at the moment. 2.5 minutes left in this qualifying session. Derek Fitzgerald is heading off on another flying lap in the Porsches. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them in the field. 5, 6 actually when I look further down. Jordan Malcolm's just entered the server. Hang on. That's interesting for mine. Jordan Malcolm's been in and out again. I'll be interested to see, because normally Mr. Malcolm at this time of the year wouldn't be in his own cockpit. I'm wondering if he hasn't got hold of a sim rig up here on the Gold Coast.
I can tell you exactly how he's driving. So he's managed to hook up a PlayStation 5 controller to his laptop. From what I saw,
I like it. It. Approved.
So that might be fun.
Too, because what is it about this time of the year? And us stupidly thinking we can schedule motorsport events and not be struck down by thunderstorms. There are thunderstorms in the forecast this weekend, folks. Keep an eye out on that. And don't say we didn't warn you. I literally, just before we went on air here, got off the phone to West Brabant Radio doing my usual Friday morning segment, previewing the weekend in local sport. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yes, we say we're live and local, but we actually pre-record. Because I refuse to get up that early in the morning, more than anything else. But yes, the reality of the matter is I had to preface all of it and say, look, there's rain in the forecast on Saturday. There's storms in the forecast Sunday and Monday. So don't be surprised if some or all of this does not get off the ground. I reckon we'll get away with Saturday, Sunday and Monday. We had bloody hail here last Saturday in Ipswich. So it's storm season already in the alleged Sunshine State. Now, on that note, we're coming up on 7:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We're heading towards 4:45 on the West Coast and 10:45 in New Zealand. It's Thursday night motorsport. We're 20 seconds away from the end of the session. We will have some overtime to get our heads around here because we will, because of the fact that it is a single race service. There will be some carryover time in qualifying, which means that Jackson Rayhana will be allowed to finish this lap. He's got pole position in the bag, and by a good margin too, 0.09 of a second over Andrew Dyson. Now it's interesting because when we look at the best times here, it's actually, hang on. I'm just having a look at that. 139.294 and 139.383. So it says 0.09, but it's actually it's interesting how our interval only goes to 2 decimal places and our times go to 3 decimal places. But anyway, it was good enough at nearly 1/10 of a second to get the job done and secure pole position. So Rayhana's going to lead us to green tonight. It will be a rolling start as well, folks. So Dan and I are going to get our workout here in padding and trying to just fill the gaps between the layover between the checkered flag waving and the server switching to race trim, and then obviously the 2-minute warm-up process as well. Adam Lavis has just jumped up to 5th on his last lap of the session. Nicely done. Tony Baker's bailed out of his run, and we've got 5 Fords in the top 6. Sean Benici makes and Paul Wood make it 7 in the top 10. There are 2 Porsches and an Aston in the top 10. Craig Bond just outside. The rest, what is it with the McLarens? Guy Leach is down in 16th. Brett Parker 17th. Jack Atkinson 20th. The McLaren really struggling tonight because none of those 3 names I just mentioned there, Dan, are slouches.
No, that's right. No, but obviously something doesn't gel here at Interlargos with that car. The Mercedes even is down in 14th. John Baldwin driving that one. So, yeah, definitely Ford. Well, it's Ford 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. And then there's 2 Porsches there in the top 10, Michael Adams and Derek Fitzgerald. So, as it stands, it looks like it's going to be Ford dominated.
It's unbelievable. Righto, quick cricket update for you from the Adelaide Oval. The Australians, slow start, but they are sitting at 1 for 42, and it'll be interesting to see if they can chase down India's total of 264. They did bowl the Indians out, almost bowled them out. India survived a last wicket partnership, 9 for 264, 1 for 43. The Australians in response at the moment. We're in the 11th over, so a long way to go there. We've finally ticked over into the race server. Here's the grid for you. Jackson Rayhana, Andrew Dyson. Please tell me that they got half a lap form up. Richard King and Jeff Adams, the second row. All subpar racing second row. Adam Lavis, Tony Baker, third row. Michael Adams, Sean Benici, fourth row. Thank Christ. And then Derek Fitzgerald and Paul Wood from row 5. I would have hated a full lap roll up tonight. We've already had a couple of them this season already. Craig Bond and Wayne Walsh from 6. Shane Beaumont and John Baldwin from 7. Brett Bradbury, Guy Leach, Brett Barker, Damien Seeger, JD Denton, Jack Atkinson make up the top 20. Justin Cahir and Jordan Malcolm make up the field. Denny Davison will maybe join us from the back, maybe not, in 23rd. If not, we're down to 22, and we're hoping that Jordan Malcolm's PlayStation 5 remote will hold up for the balance of the next 40 minutes. What an achievement that is if he manages to get through it unscathed. Now, as far as the rest of the week is concerned, just as we watch Jackson Rayhana line up there for Flash Graphics, that is a great livery, isn't it? That is literally all-time supreme. But you've got the tip to Monster Energy on the front. And you've got the traditional black and yellow of Flash Graphics on the top and side, and Summit, of course, now running that Monster Energy green sort of colour, which is good to see. One of the, it's amazing, isn't it? I don't get caught up in press releases all that terribly often, Dan Correa, with regards to, I think of it as a slow news day if all that's being reported is a livery reveal or a livery change or something like that. But ever since being immersed in this paddock, you realise just how much work these guys put into it and how much pride they take in their appearance, albeit on the virtual racetrack.
Yeah, 100%. Now, for some, there are obviously going to be, for some of our guys, they are actually sponsored. They take this that seriously that they go and get sponsors that help them, because some people drive not only in the GSRC but also in some other more, let's say, more competitive, I suppose, because they include the more worldly audience in Europe and America. And with those guys, obviously, you do need representation for your sponsors. If they're going to give you something, you got to give them something. And so they take some of those guys will take their livery creating seriously. In that sense, to make sure that there's proper representation for the sponsors that need to be. And then there are some that like to have fun with it. I don't think Andrew Dyson made this, but in any case, we see him having fresh liveries every single round. This time, he is sponsored by Burger King, so that's good. That's always a good shout out. Not the correct term for Australia, but everybody recognises the logo anyway.
Well, actually, you might remember, because I certainly do, there was that period in time where we had both Burger King and Hungry Jack's in Australia at the turn of the century. That was confusing and comical for all the right reasons. Right, getting ready for a start on a Thursday night. It is a 3-race program ahead of us here. It is an all-Mustang front row. It's the championship leader on the outside. It's the man from Summit Simsport on the inside. Rayhana with a pole position in a tin top. It's rare. We normally talk about his dominance when we go over to wheeler racing. Let's see if he can change the narrative for the good here tonight. Safety car peels off. The field is in the control and the hands of Jackson Rayhana. We're here to hit the gas we get going at Interlargos in Brazil. Great start as they fan out down the main straight. Now the key is to get through the first corner cleanly. Can they do that? So far, yes. And Rayhana's got no trouble further back. Paul Wood's caught up. Someone's parked in the middle of the road. That was Sean Benici for Whiskey Business. Michael Adams also caught up in all of that. Johnny Davison, a non-starter. 19 cars through the first corner cleanly and 3 compromised already. Michael Adams on the tow rope. Rayhana leads in Sao Paulo. Bond down the inside is that. Yep, on Fitzgerald. Nicely done. Bondi goes to 7th. Oh, 4 spots already. Big moves also made early on by Brett Barker up 6 spots. Jordan Malcolm up 5. Helped by the fact that 3 of them have already run into trouble. Guy Leach down the inside of John Baldwin goes to 13th. Moves are plenty on the opening lap. But you've got to make your moves while the field's stacked up, don't you, Dan? Because you don't want to let these guys spread out, because then that makes life all the more difficult.
That's exactly right. The first lap is usually where you'll see the most incidents, because you're going to see the most attempts at an overtake. When the chaos, when the melee, when you've got so many cars around you, that's when a driver's defenses, let's say, are at their most vulnerable, because there's so much to pay attention to. Once you get into that groove, once the laps start to come out and everybody's into that final groove, those the awareness starts to rise up. There's less to pay attention to. So if you can capitalize on the chaos, it'd be silly not to. But on the flip side, you do have to pay attention because everybody's tires are cold, everybody's brakes are cold. When you know you think you're going to go down into a corner and the car doesn't stop the way you want it to. So things like that, you really do have to.
Tony Baker off the road, and so too Bondi as well. Baker and Bond, sorry to jump in there, Dan. They've dropped down the order, they've plummeted. Bondi to 16th and Baker to 20th. What on earth has gone on there? Especially in the case of Bondi, he had such a good start. Baker.
The rear's gone. Oh, and he did clip him. Yeah.
Bondi on the way through. Bondi, helpless in all of that, had nowhere to go. And they had to just sit there and wait for the traffic to clear. Unlucky. Really unlucky for Tony Baker and very unlucky for Craig Bond. So Rayhana and Dyson have bolted. Look at them, 2.7 up the road already for Richard King. Adam Lavis has made a good start, up into the top 5, staying where he started early on. Fitzgerald, the first of the non-Mustang brigade, with the exception of Richard King, of course. Kingy, of course, there in third place in the Aston. So 4 Fords and an Aston in the top 5. Then the Porsche. Then 2 more Mustangs, then another Porsche. A McLaren in the top 10 with Brett Barker having made 7 spots up early on. Oh, it's a Mustang rubbing tonight. 6 of them in the top 8 at the moment. And it does sound swell as well.
Yeah, it's got a cracker note. Definitely one of my favorites now on the service, because it sounds. I mean, if you go in car, you'd swear it was a supercar. It has the exact same type of tone there. So from a handling perspective, not too bad either. Now, if you want to really get your tinfoil hat on, you would argue that it's the latest GT4, and therefore iRacing always make it most powerful to entice people to buy it. And then once that season goes, they get nerfed, and the BOP comes in, etc., etc. But in any case, it seems to be a nice handling car, and it sounds great to boot.
Travis Head goes for 28 off 40. Australia 2 for 54 at the Adelaide Oval. So a little bit of breaking news around the grounds for you. We'll bring you updates from that vitally important second ODI as the evening goes on, of course. India looking to square the series ahead of a series decider potentially at the Sydney Cricket Ground on Saturday. But in the meantime, I cannot wait to sit at home and watch that one this weekend, quite frankly. Better than anything else that's on the telly. Australia and India by day, Australia and South Africa in the Women's Cricket World Cup. How good were they last night by night? Early on the Sunday morning, you've got Australia against England in the Ashes of Rugby League. And then, of course, MotoGP Sunday night from Malaysia, and Monday morning Formula One from Mexico. It is going to be an almighty weekend on the lounge, and one I'm looking forward to immensely. Rayhana, Dyson, King, Adam Clavis, top 5. Fastest run of the race for Andrew Dyson, 1:39.508. Able to take advantage of the slipstream, the tow provided by the fact that he's in the slipstream of Jackson Rayhana at the moment. Although we spoke early on last week with Scott Rankin over when we were covering the GT Pro Invitational Series, Dan, and I think it's important that we make mention of it here. You probably already have. The dirty air factor, if you stay tucked in behind for too long. So that's something that Dyson will need to be mindful of here. Yes, it's only a 40-minute race. Yes, there'll be an opportunity to play some strategy, do the undercut or the overcut rather. I'm getting my references mixed up there. It'll be interesting to see how they go about that, because Dyson will fancy his opportunity, his chances of undercutting Jackson Rayhana on the pit lane or overcutting it, depending upon who wants to zig first.
Yep. So, yeah, a lot of strategies when it comes to motorsport, and just detailed a couple of them in the GT4 specifically. So the thing you have to keep in mind is when you're driving in clean air and there's nothing disturbed in front of you, you get the full effect of the downforce of your car. So as the air travels over the front of the car, it puts load onto the car, and it puts the tires further into the tarmac, and therefore you get more grip. Now, when you're following a car, you don't have the air in front, so the front of the car is lighter, which is why sometimes drivers get caught out when they're following close behind and they brake in the same brake marker. Because what ends up happening is they actually travel a further distance. They don't have the same load, they don't have the same braking capacity or the grip into the ground. So the really smart drivers, really good drivers account for this, and when they follow, they can use that to close up the distance in the corner, but they make sure to give a little bit of room so they don't careen into the car ahead. And then in terms of the fuel saving aspect, you're using less horsepower when you're following, so you can save a lot of fuel. If any of you are veterans here and you remember when Matt Dench was absolutely decimating essentially anything he put his friggin' bum into, he would do that. He would follow. He wouldn't try to lead the entire race. He'd follow as much as possible, save as much fuel as possible, and then just beat everybody on the pit stop and then just smash it home.
I'm liking Andrew Dyson's dedication to the advertising commitments this season, changing it up week in week. I mean, imagine the time he's putting in just to do delivery in the first place, right?
Surely he's not doing it. Surely
there might
he's...
be some customs there.
Yeah.
But remember, the Mustang GT4 is the newest of the stable. So for him to be able to go in there and either find one from scratch or build one from scratch, there's... and what the selection process is as well. I'm interested to know why he's going with particular brands in different weeks.
So he's had 2 restaurants now, and he's... Oh, and I think he might just go for a move here. Shoots to the outside. Now, can he beat him under brakes? I don't think so. The Senna S, usually dominated by the inside line, and Jackson parks it on the apex and prevents the move. So Andrew Dyson will follow once again. Does get the fastest lap, though, 39.392.
That was absolutely beautifully done. Absolutely beautifully done from Dyson to try and set up the move, and Rayhana more than up for the challenge. Very good racecraft from all and sundry there, and that's the thing. Rayhana's very well aware of the presence of Dyson, who has the fastest lap of the race again, 1:39.392. So we're lapping in that 1:39, low 1:39 range, right? So 1 minute 40, 3:25. So that's 3, 6 is 10. So 4:10 to 40, which is your race distance in minutes tonight. 4 6s are 24. Plus the transit of the lane, which will be a splash and dash. Is there the chance that we potentially get a 21st lap? Sorry, a 25th lap, I should say. Probably not. Once you take that pit lane transit into consideration, I think that'll evaporate, cancel out all the other time that we might have otherwise had up our sleeve. There's Brett Bradbury going round, and good evasive action from all and sundry. If we do get to a 25th, it'll be by the bare skin of our teeth, like what we saw in at the Toyotas at the Bend on Monday night. We will have a look at that. But right now, the general consensus is we're looking at 24 laps. 6 done. And also important to note that they wouldn't have been up to full speed on the opening lap either. So we probably lost a couple of seconds there potentially too. Which will help the cause of keeping this to within the 24 lap parameters there, with a very small amount of overtime. We're either going to get a very small amount of overtime, Dan, or a full lap's worth. It's just too close to call at this stage. But lap 7, the battle for 9th, or 8th rather. John Baldwin holds under 8th. They're trying to stay in contact with Wayne Losh. Damien Seeger in behind him at the moment. They're getting very flirty with the limits of track adhesion here, aren't they? I mean, using all that ripple strip and a little bit of the AstroTurf, the runoff area, and then some. Yeah,
I mean, if iRacing isn't going to penalise you, then take what you can get, is what I say. Damien Seeger tries to hold the inside line here, coming up. Oh, does he actually make it stick? He does. That's a really good move there. Yeah, it was nice. Just forceful enough.
And look who's back on John Baldwin's tail as well. Bondi was up really well on the opening lap, has continued that charge back through the field, looking for 9th on the inside of Baldwin. Thank you. Baldwin will stay on the outside. Oh, Bondi's got across and forced, essentially. I reckon that was good hard, fair racing from Bond. He basically forced John Baldwin to get on the anchors there and said, no, I want that more than you do. I'm taking it. Baldwin had every right, I reckon, to stay there on the outside and try and force himself back down the inside for the left-hander, Dan, but Bondi wasn't having a bar of it.
No, we know that Bondi can be quite aggressive in some of those moves, but that was a good one. He showed his face and...
yeah, and it's prompted a pit stop from John Baldwin almost immediately.
So he realises that with those loss.
Yep. So that cancels that out. He's pulled the trigger and has said, I'm within the window, let's go. We'll try and run 28 minutes to the flag. Why not? 7.5 minutes gone. Oh, sorry, 7.5 laps gone, 12.5 minutes gone. Looking at all these different numbers, I'm getting confused, folks. Apologies.
So I'll just grab your attention here to the car on screen. This is Jordan Malkin in the Porsche. And what we'll do is just have a look at how snappy those steering inputs are. They're not as smooth as you'd want them to be, but he's doing
He's struggling a little bit, isn't he? But 10 points for the dedication.
Oh, right? For sure.
10 points for the commitment. I mean, we know what happens this weekend of the year. We know where he is. We know that he'd probably much rather be out having dinner, enjoying the nightlife, whatever the case may be. Certainly wouldn't be having a late afternoon surf because it's Queensland. That's just not a thing because the sun's down before an appropriate time in the summer months. So may as well knock over your normal programming as best you can. It's impressive to watch him try. Here's Dyson having a run on Rayhana, side by side to the lead of the race. Down to turn 4. It's forceful. It's wheel banging. It's got a door between the pole sitter and the championship leader, and the 000 goes through.
But it's not over yet because Jackson Rayhana's going to try and keep as side by side as he can through this next section. He's going a little bit fast, but he's got gravity to help him on the uphill, and he does. Goes straight back up on the inside and keeps the position. So the fight was strong, but Jackson Rayhana wins out again in the end. See if we can actually get a full just replay of that from Rayhana's perspective. So there they are racing down. There we go. Side by side. Tyson takes the inside. Jackson's really got to pull up. Want to make sure you don't get the XF going off track, but then keeps the commitment here. Now up the hill, of course, you get extra braking power due to the compression, and he just manages to keep it. Sticks it to the apex. Keeps the nose ahead at all times, and then Andrew sort of has to give in and follow again. So a good exchange between those two.
Dyson across the start-finish line, chases Rayhana to turn 1. Rayhana moved across to cover the line and withstand the pressure, the threat that looms on his rear bumper at the moment. Dyson's right there. These guys are on the ragged edge. Rayhana didn't get a great run out of turn 3. Dyson certainly did though. Back down the outside he goes. To the lead he goes. Nose in front, Rayhana back under brakes on the inside. Probably one of the better scrubs we've had for the lead in a while in GT4. It's a Mustang 1, 2, 3, 4 at the moment because Jeff Adams and Adam Lavis have found their way by Richard King. And now Dyson doing everything he can, trying the kitchen sink and then some at Jackson Rayhana trying to force his way through. And he's just not able to do so right now. Well, if you weren't already feeling hungry this evening, ladies and gentlemen, just looking at the Burger King logo will do it for you. I was having a chat to Daniel Correa Saab, and you probably heard it actually because we were on air that early tonight that I'm losing track of what was an on-air discussion, what was an off-air discussion. But yes, there was that brief period in time, and I remember it very fondly, that, and because we had the situation in the New South Wales Hunter Valley where if you went to Heatherbrae and you went to Beresfield, you got Burger King, and if you went to Talara and Hexham, you got Hungry Jack's. It was rather amusing. You were getting the same thing, just under different paper wrapping and different advertising on the front, different logo, different etc. But it wasn't. It was pretty much the same bloody paint job. These two have been battling in most series this week. It is great stuff. And Dyson up the outside, still not able to get by Ray Harner. Hello, Joe Baldwin. Good evening to you, or actually good afternoon, considering you're over on the west coast, just after 5 o'clock over there. Down the back straight we go, out of turn 3, down towards turn 4. You just get the feeling the longer this goes, the closer we are to having a race decided by who gets out of pit lane first.
Yeah. The thing is, if you're battling intensely like this, then all the sort of saving strategies go out the window, right? So Andrew's trying really hard to make that overtake. He's not just staying in the pocket there behind Ray Harner. Instead, he's actively fighting, and so neither of these guys are saving. That means that Ray Harner can't slow up, and it means that Andrew Dyson is going full tilt. And as they battle, obviously, it's better for us as in the audience watching. The other thing to take into mind as well is they're fighting hard. We've seen them bumping doors and trading paint. Jeff Adams is still 3 seconds behind, so they're fighting and still maintaining the pace. Like, this is textbook motorsport. This is what you want. You want drivers that are ready to just lay everything on the line, and they're maintaining their speed.
It's a really dominant performance from the pair of them, to be fair. Hard to know which one's going to get the driver of the day, really. Because normally, and you see it in Formula V, you saw it in the Toyotas, whatever the case may be, right? The more you juke and squabble, the more the pack catches you, the more you fall back into their clutches. That's not happening here. These two are just in their element at the moment, putting on a show for all of us to enjoy. We're almost at half race distance. We're still none the wiser as to who wins this thing. Don't forget, race start the Porsches tonight, ladies and gentlemen, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I cannot stress that enough. 9 p.m. on the East, if you are of the progressive and civilised variety. 6 o'clock on the West Coast, where, of course, over there, the time difference makes a lot more bloody sense, and 11 o'clock in New Zealand. Any chance I get to extract the you-know-what out of that, I will this summer. Ray Harner, Dyson, Adams, Lavis, King, Fitzgerald and Bond, the top 7. So Bondy back up into 7th. John Baldwin was the only one who was stopped early on in the piece. Still the only one to stop until now, because Jack Atkinson has only just gone to pit lane at the end of lap 11. He started lap 12. It's a long stop for Atkinson, 12.27 seconds, but he's back out again. So Baldwin and Atkinson back out. The margin from Baldwin to Ray Harner, 55 seconds. That doesn't give you a real indication as to what the transit time, etc., is, because Baldwin was already at a deficit to these guys to begin with. And as Dan has already alluded to, they are 3.8 seconds up the road from Jeff Adams and Adam Lavis, who is under pressure from Richard King at the moment. We didn't see, actually, did we see how Kingy lost track position, or was that when I was having a look at the cricket score? I'm not sure.
No, we didn't.
Down the main straight. Dyson up the outside. Dyson up the outside. Not yet. Not yet. How good to see two blokes go about their business, right? Forcefully, aggressively, keeping each other honest and taking them to task, but doing so cleanly as well. Yeah. This is showcasing exactly what the GSRC mantra is all about. Down the outside goes Dyson. No. Yes. No. Not yet. Not yet. This is awesome. Mustang 1, Mustang 2, Mustang 3, Mustang 4, 7 and 10 as well. 6 in the top 10, 3 Porsches and an Aston as well. But that's Ray Harner dominating, along with Dyson, to put the rest of the field behind them at a very comfortable margin, so that they can duke it out, and probably duke it out for first and second on their terms throughout the remainder of the night. At this point, nobody else is in the fight. It's a 2-horse race.
There's an interesting move that I would have thought Andrew might have employed, but I don't see him doing so. So just to touch on what you said before, Zach, the key part is they're battling hard, but they're battling fair, right? Because you don't want anybody to just push people off the track. It's not what racing's about, right? So they're giving each other the space and they're racing fairly. But there's a move that you can do, which I'm surprised that more people don't take advantage of. You're going to see Jackson here tip right to the inside of the pit wall, right? Now, Andrew can't do it from that far back, so I can understand it here. But when they're close enough, what Jackson will do is he will hold that inside line because it's very, very strong going into the center S. What you can do is you can abuse the fact that he wants to hold the inside line by trapping him as close to the pit wall as possible. So you still give him that car width, but that way he can't extend the line when they come to the braking zone. The thing is... Richard
King on the tow rope, mate. Richard King on the tow rope.
Oh, he's had an accident. Yes, he has. Hold on a minute.
Yeah. So I just saw a driver drop down to pit lane.
Oh, Jesus.
No.
He's lost. That's
Richard's
before
had a
then.
massive
What's happened
incident.
there?
A massive shunt, and because he's gone past the pit entry, that will be a very long tow for Richard King. Contact with Adam Rivers. Yep. And Adam's going to pit lane as well. But Adam was at least able to get there under his own steam. Richard lost all control of the vehicle, had no steering, and got the inside wall and the outside for good measure. Malcolm also into pit lane. We reckon that's a scheduled pit stop for him. But Richard King on pit road. Adam Lavis in and out in 8.8, which includes the fast repair. And Ray Harness still leads Dyson by 0.3. And all that does, actually, is help them. Because now, Jeff Adams is a very lonely third. Adam Lavis, I don't think is going to be under any threat to lose fourth, given the margin he had over Derek Fitzgerald, but he would have lost some of that advantage through what we just saw. And what race control think of that one will be very interesting as well. Richard King has got back out there after 1:09 minutes on pit road, and he has not yet dropped a lap, but I'll tell you what, he's well out of contention right now. That's a very costly exercise for him. Michael Adams out of the business on the opening lap. Jordan Malcolm, Jack Atkinson, John Baldwin and Adam Lavis, the only four to a stop so far. And Ray Harner still under pressure from Dyson. The question is, how long can they run? How long can they go here, Dan? It's already lap 15. We think it's going 24, at most 25 by, skinning your teeth sort of territory. They haven't got into the low 139s for a while. They've been circulating 139.6, so they're not taking too much out of that 1 minute 40 threshold that I've been talking about. So with pit lane transit coming into play very, very, very shortly, and the pit stops ranging between 8 and 11 seconds, I can see this being a case of the pit lane transit will do enough to wipe out any potential chance we had of that 25th lap. But at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if they get there just by the skin of their teeth, just to spite me.
Yeah, time will tell.
Just to upset the calculator.
That's it. So again, a good movement here from Ray Harner and Dyson out the front. Again, battling well. 3.7 seconds. So they're still putting time on Jeff Adams there in P3. So as you said, Jeff Adams is in a bit of a no man's land where he's got a 15-second gap to Derek Fitzgerald behind and a 3.8-second gap to the cars in front. So essentially, he's just running his own race right now, and he'll look to capitalize if there is any mistake that comes from the fight that we're watching now between P1 and P2. And
can't
again,
really
Andrew's
gain, can't really lose, can't really benefit from the tow, can't really save fuel that way. So yeah, as you rightly say, he's kind of basically on the Nullarbor, really. He's on his own.
That's a good way to put it.
No man's land. Yeah. He's just out there, and it's light years before he's going to bump into anybody. Yeah, poor bloke. He's still got these guys just in his sight. There he is, top of screen. But that's about it. It's slowly but surely falling the way of Ray Harner and Dyson here. But Adams is still onto the podium, to his credit.
And he's also not, like, crazy off the pace either. He's about 3/10. So, obviously, he's not going to catch. He's not going to make up that deficit as long as these guys are still going on pace. But he's there, right? So all it takes is one mistake, and he can capitalize on this. It depends on how hard they race, because as the timer dwindles down, the desperation will turn up. Andrew Dyson isn't someone to just give away a win, right? He's going to fight, and he'll fight hard, and then once it starts coming out, he'll fight harder and harder, and Jackson Rayhana's going to defend to his, for his life. So this will only spice up further. The only thing is, I very much doubt we'll see both of these guys go into the pit at the same time. Someone's going to blink, and it's either going to be an over or an undercut. I don't think Rayhana will come in. Yeah, no, they're probably going to stay out for the next 2 or so laps. But
I just get the feeling that they're going to race onto pit road. I just get the feeling that they're going to zig and zag at the same time. Monkey see, monkey do. Riding on board with Dyson in second at the moment. We're at the 27-minute mark, 13 minutes to go. We've just started lap 17 of what we suspect will be 24 once you take the pit lane transit into consideration. We're still in that 1 minute 39.7 bracket. So that's the other thing that's noticeable. Even though the fuel tanks are lighter, Rayhana 2 wheels up the road. Oh, poor old Jordan Malcolm's done. All credit to you, mate. We applaud the effort and the dedication. Now go out and enjoy yourself, a quiet snappy and an evening meal, and enjoy the nightlife of what this part of the world is all about. Just make sure that you've got accommodation with very dark, thick black curtains on them, so that you don't get woken by the sun at stupid o'clock in the morning. And have yourself a good weekend. Poor old Jordan Malcolm, mate. Out after 14.26 laps. So he was right. The laptop's done. He's crashed out partway through a lap. Points for trying, though. Absolutely points for trying. Shane Beaumont, Brett Bradbury out of pit lane right now. What have you picked up?
Oh, Rayhana just had a bit of a wiggle coming out of that last turn. So as he was up the hill, Dyson is now much closer. I'm curious to see if maybe that means, so what Dyson can do right now is exactly what I was talking about before, but he doesn't. He extends to the outside of the racing line. It's an interesting choice. I don't know why you wouldn't try and force Jackson on the inside, because you only have to give him one car's width, right? And he can't push you out of the way. So if he's going to go so close to the pit lane, trap him in there, and then you get all of the right-hand side of the track. You can go and extend out to the racing line once you get to the braking zone, but he can't. So it's really interesting that he doesn't do that.
And also, because of where Rayhana is, it's not like he can do the crisscross and over and under.
That's right,
that opportunity shut out for him as well. This is an awesome little scrap here. Rayhana, Dyson, Adams, Fitzgerald and Bond, the top 5. And Dyson up the outside again. Still up the outside. Still holding Rayhana to account. Applying the pressure. And it's a magnificent answer to the challenge so far. The defence work from Rayhana has been magnificent. 0.3 the margin. We're on lap 18. We're 28 seconds away from entering the final quarter of the race. 3/4 race distance about to come and go. 18 laps it will be, ladies and gentlemen. 24 the journey here tonight. Round to the left-hander we go. And up the hill. This is Thursday Night Motorsport live, exclusive and free on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Rayhana, Dyson, Adams, Fitzgerald, Bond and Wood the top 6. But of the top 13, only Adam Lavis has stopped so far. Down the main straight. Do they go to pit lane this time by? No, they don't. Let's go on to lap 19.
Oh, but Dyson looked to the inside. No, shoots back out. There's again. That was smart. Okay, so that was something new. That was something new. 30 minutes. And Andrew Dyson looked to go into the inside, but then he shot straight back out to the racing line. So now he's trying to play this game of trying to make his car as big as possible in those mirrors, maybe to just try and throw Rayhana off. He's done the same thing 4 or 5 times in a row. And then he tries something different. Maybe it triggers just a slight mistake. It didn't. Rayhana stays ahead as John there. Jackson will turn that thing into the Lizzo of Mustang. Wide AF. Yeah, exactly. That's it. I know that this man will defend for his life, and so yeah, he will make sure that car is pixel perfect on some of these apexes. But again, what I see, and I could be wrong. I race sometimes and I push buttons, but you can punish being that close to the pit wall. If you're going to choose a line that aggressively that early, punish it. You're allowed to do that, right? I'm not telling you to run him into the pit wall, Schumacher and Barrichello, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, exactly right. I'm just saying, abuse it, right? If they're going to choose a line, make them pay for their decision. But the thing is, for you to do that, you have to be close enough. And unfortunately, Reihana just seems to have the edge in this last sector of the circuit. The only time we saw Andrew get close is when Reihana had a little bit of a wiggle on the back here, which caused him to lose speed up the hill.
So it's lap 19 is now the moment. Is now the time. I'm feeling a lot better about my calculations as well, ladies and gentlemen, because that's the end of 31 3/4 minutes. They're now outside the 1 minute 40s. So now it's definitely a 24 lapper. We know that for sure. We're not going to 25. We were pretty confident from the outset, but we had to build the theatre, didn't we? Again, the only reason we couldn't settle on a number is because maths is not my strong point. I tell you all the time, ladies and gentlemen, people don't believe me. Have a look at this. Right harder to the inside again. Parking that car in the middle of the road. Dyson right there on his clucker. Have a look at this. Fitzgerald and Bond and Medici to pit lane. Field starting to cleanse. Seeger in as well. This is the critical lap. You get the feeling. Mustangs 1, 2, and 3. 3 different teams in the top 3. That margin back to Jeff Adams is out beyond 4.5 seconds now. And Andrew Dyson remains on the tail of Jackson Reihana to give him the big hurry up. The fact that Reihana has been able to drive mid-track defensively and still match Dyson lap time for lap time is extraordinary. Dyson still struggling to find a way through, which is not what you'd normally say about Dysons, but that's another story. Let's have a look at this. Reihana and Dyson to the end of the second sector. Out of there they go. This is lap 20. He hasn't been able to crack the wall of defense of Reihana. I love the analogy from Johnny Simpson. I'm not sure how much trouble we're going to get in for that, but I loved it all the time. Here we go. Overcut for Andrew Dyson. This is how he's going to try and get by Jackson Reihana. My goodness. Jeff Adams in as well. The critical lap is lap 20 for our race leader and lap 21 for everybody else, it would seem. Or lap 21 for Dyson, I should say. Lap 20 will be the critical lap for the remainder.
8.4.
Adams is in as well. 8.4 is a magnificent time. Wayne Losh, Tony Baker still to stop as well. We expect them to come in this time. Nice recovery from Baker. Nice recovery from Bond as well. In all of that, 9.8 for Jeff Adams. They're back out on the racetrack. Adam Lavis has recovered to 4th. After the incident earlier on with Richard King, he has recovered to 4th. That's magnificent. Mustang 1, 2, 3, 4 still well and truly alive here. Can Bondi find his way through? Yes, he's up into 6th, but the problem for him is Derek Fitzgerald is still 5.8 up the road, so it looks as though Porsche's going to rain on the parade of a potential Mustang 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, but still, we have, what's that? 7 in the top 10 and 3 Porsches as well. Now it gets interesting, Daniel Correa. This is the defining moment of the race. And there's a penalty for JD Dent as well. So he'll be coming to pit lane. He's got a black flag next to his name. 3 retirements, Bradbury, Malcolm, Adams, and Dent due on pit road. Dyson the only remaining car to stop. He's going again. He's going again. He's going to lap 22. He'll take us to within 2 laps of the checkered flag before he even entertains the idea of going to pit lane. This is an almighty run from Dyson.
Okay, so that's a really interesting...
And a good lap time that time around as well. 39.6, one of the fastest we've seen in a while from him.
So the theory, or at least my understanding of what he's doing here is you've got a light car, you've got clean air. So you know you've got the pace advantage because the car is lighter. So you punch as hard as you can. You extend the gap as much as you can because your tyres are still warm. You didn't have to stop yet. The guy behind you put in fuel to make it to the end, so he's slightly heavier than you and he's still got to warm up, which has happened. When they came in, there was a 20-second gap. With that lap gone, Dyson has now put 1.5 seconds there. The pit lane transit time, the full pit lane transit time for Reihana was 28.48 seconds. His stop was 8.4. So Dyson goes further, has to fill up less. That's what I think will happen. Gets the clean air. This might work for him. This might be smart. If he knows that he's got the pace advantage to stay out an extra lap and get more time on the board for yourself, very, very good. You can see that there's actually traffic just ahead. I believe that is Jack Atkinson in front of him. So I can't imagine he'll do another. I think he will come in this lap.
Keep an eye on this. Meanwhile, I can tell you that the Aussies are 2 for 95 at the Adelaide Oval, so that third wicket partnership's going along nicely. Is this the moment for Andrew Dyson? Surely. 3, 2, 1, yes. The end of lap 22. And there are 2 laps to go at the Interlargos circuit in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Dyson into pit lane. Reihana 21.5 seconds down the road. All eyes on the Summit Sim Sport 57 now as he makes his way down the main straight. Scintillating, cracking opening installment of Thursday Night Motorsport.
4 seconds!
Incredible. 4.3, more to the point, 4.3. He's going to come out in the canter. Andrew Dyson has absolutely smashed this one out of the park. So maybe there was nothing to the madness after all. Have a look at the amount of time he saved. He saved some juice. He saved some juice and put an almighty one up Jackson Reihana. And Dyson will look to continue his winning ways. This will be his 3rd win of the season in GT4. To go with the 4, he's already got in a Toyota 86. He's carving this season up. That is an extraordinary power play.
So,
what the hell?
I just want to hear, there is no way Andrew is, he's got to be doing fuel saving for the rest of the race. There's no way he can keep up this pace.
He had to be saving some behind Reihana. That had to be the only way.
Surely, but I reckon we'll know when he gets to the end of the straight. So just keep an eye out for that engine tone. I suspect we're going to hear I suspect we're going to see a lift here. The difference in pit stop times? 4 seconds.
4.12 seconds. 4.12. White flag in the air. One more time around. 4.309 kilometres around the Interlargos circuit. Actually, that's the one thing we didn't do tonight was we did the track and weather information. We just didn't do the track information. But there you go. On we go. One more time around for Andrew Dyson. 5.2 seconds to Jackson Reihana. What the hell have we just witnessed?
Lift that much? Jesus.
I wouldn't have thought so. Now, has everybody else fueled for thinking it was going to be 25? Surely their calculators couldn't have got it that wrong. Surely we'd reached a point where they knew it was going to be 24. Surely. Unreal. Andrew Dyson, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry about the fact that he's running 000 at the moment. This is going to be his 3rd win of the season in GT4. He's 3rd one. Maybe he needs to change the number to 111. Unbelievable drama here. 2nd in the opening week. He drove the McLaren. He made the switch to the Mustang. Cleaned up at Road Atlanta. Got race 1 victory last week. Climbed back to 3rd in race 2 at the Charlotte Roval. But he's dominating the entree slots on both the Monday night and the Thursday night at the moment. Last sequence of corners. 5 seconds to the good. It's an astonishing margin. It's unheard of, considering how tight it had been for the first 35 minutes of this race. Main straight, checkered flight in the air. Andrew Dyson and DPR Racing have yet another win in an entree slot on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. 3rd GT4 win of the season, and go with the 4 he's got in the Toyota 86 campaign. That is a crushing blow to the competition and any aspirations they may well have had in trying to reel this bloke in this term. That was awesome. And look how low he was on juice at the end of that. He ran that milliliter perfect, you could say, Daniel Carrera.
Now that was impressive. That was 35 minutes in, and we had no idea who was going to take this race. Andrew Dyson goes not 1, but 2 laps further, puts a 1.5 second gap after the pit stop, comes into the pits, and cuts the stop in half. Half, not a second,
yep.
not 2, 4 seconds.
4.
Like, what?
Yep. Ridiculous. Absolutely smashing. Absolutely fantastic. DP. See, this is the thing, right? Jackson Rayhana, I said it earlier, I said it at the top of the call, but he's, a prince, he's a master of the open wheel craft. He's trying to, cement his status as a tin top contender and competitor as well. That's unfortunately suffered a huge setback at the hands of Andrew Dyson tonight. And you think about all the big stables, right? You think about the Eclipse, you think about the Vermilions, you think about the Orbit Drop Bears, etc., etc. But GPR are now a team that you have to consider talking about in the same vein, in the same breath. They mightn't have the depth in terms of the talent pool and the numbers of some of the other teams in terms of the depth of their stable. But I tell you what, they're packing a punch this term. That was awesome. Dyson Rayhana, Adams in for third, and a very comfortable third at that, 12 seconds then back to Adam Lavis. Have a look at how bloody stretched out it was beyond that first 2. Thank Christ they kept it entertaining for us. 15.4 seconds back to Jeff Adams, Adam Lavis in 4th, then Derek Fitzgerald, the only non-Mustang in the top 8. That is extraordinary and important to note. Bondi up 5 spots, which I thought was impressive considering that he got inadvertently caught up in Tony Baker's garbage at the start of the second lap. And there was absolutely, no one's to blame for that one. Baker's unlucky and he had no control of the car at that point, wasn't able to pull it up. Bondi just got caught up as collateral. Bond got the better of Paul Wood, Sean Bonici, Damien Seeger and Wayne Losh, 3 Porsches in the top 10. Then John Baldwin, Brett Barker. It started well but didn't go on with it, up 5 spots. And the McLaren, the Mercedes was 11th, the McLaren 12th, the first of the Astons 13th, and that was Richard King, unfortunately. After that big smack with Adam Lavis, that was the best he was able to achieve in all of that. Shane Beaumont, Tony Baker, then Guy Leach, Jack Atkinson, JD Dent, Justin Kahir was the first of the retirements, and then Brett Bradley, Jordan Malcolm and Michael Adams, the rest of them as well. Wowee. That's a crushing blow. Huge power play for Andrew Dyson, and a huge momentum shift in this series in his favour. Just goes to show, doesn't it? He nearly made the wrong call in the opening week with the McLaren, and he hasn't put a foot wrong since with the Mustang. 4 podium finishes from 4 starts in that thing.
Yeah, no, it's an excellent drive, and here's just the replay of that case that started early on.
Interesting that we had 2 incidents on the opening 2 laps. They were both at that turn 1, turn 2 S-bend section. And that was it. Literally, that was it. Well, this is going to be interesting to get this bloke's verdict on all of that version of events from Jackson Rayhana, ladies and gentlemen. Going around the grounds for you before I do introduce Mr. Rayhana into the conversation. The Australians in the 21st over 2 for 105, Matty Short 35, Matty Renshaw 28. They are going along at a good clip at the moment. 21st over, they're chasing 265. They need 5.39 and over from here on in. The current run rate's 5.16. Again, you can watch it on Fox and KO. You can listen to it on Triple M and SE, and you can also watch us and listen to that. I don't care, as long as you're across both on a big Thursday night of sport. We've got Jeff Adams about to join us as well with the podium finish there in 3rd. But let's start with Jackson Rayhana. We're a little bit gobsmacked. We're a little bit astounded by all of that, flabbergasted if you like, because we weren't expecting Andrew Dyson to go into pit lane and halve you know, sequence of pit stops, the transit time, the stop time that we'd seen to this point of the night, mate. Not only did you have the lead when you went into the pit lane, 8 seconds were about on par with what we were seeing as far as the stationary time was concerned, and he's gone into pit lane and one-upped everybody with half as much time in the box, and the reward is a 5-second victory for him. Unlucky to you, but a great drive and a great spectacle all the same, mate. A cracking race between the pair of you.
Good evening, fellas. Yeah, I just got played for a fool, to be honest. I'm just sitting here with a bit of egg on my face. Daiso, yeah, he pretty obvious he was saving from lap 1, and silly me, silly open wheel drive. I didn't realise until about lap 15 that I thought, ooh, I'm in a bit of trouble here. Burning as much fuel as I could. It was actually looking at my lap counter and how much fuel I had left, and it was going to be very, very tight. So I actually started saving and squeezed an extra lap out of it. But yeah, obviously Daiso was doing that from the start and got 2 more than I did even. And so I nearly went 3 laps less than needed on petrol, which is yeah, pretty impressive performance. I need to go back and do some study.
And this is the thing, mate, like, props to you, because you pretty much nailed exactly what I said at the start of the call. You're an open wheeler specialist, right? But credit to you, you've been trying to improve, you know, your versatility, and work on this side of the spectrum, this discipline, because they're 2 completely different beasts, aren't they? And the only way to improve your game is to learn, and that's a learning lesson for you tonight. But the reward is, I guess, at the same time, at least you've got good, strong championship points here.
Yeah, absolutely. And the biggest thing I think there is I got a lesson. I got a teaching, mind you.
And you got it for free.
Yeah, exactly. Now he's just let me know what I need to go back and work on in order to put up a real fight in this championship. So it's definitely something I'll consider for the rest of the championship. And yeah, he's definitely thrown down the challenge and done it very well.
Are you enjoying driving this Mustang, mate? Because it is like I normally go to that Flash Graphics livery and enjoy the living daylights out of it because of the presence of the colour yellow, right? But with the tip of the hat, the Monster Energy in there as well, the black and the green complementing the yellow and the black, that is an awesome looking motor car, and it goes well too.
Yeah, John Simpson's done another fantastic job. It's actually sort of a replica of Kobe Jones and our V8 Scops livery. We just thought how it would look on the GT4 Mustang, and yeah, it's come up a treat. He's done an awesome job, as he always does on all our cars for Summit Sim Sports.
I guess the other thing as well, mate, is the fact that you and Daiso were able to do what you do and pull away from the pack as well. Yeah, Daiso's obviously done it in a bit more of an effective way than you, but it's clear that you're going to be a genuine podium contender in any given week in this series. So, yep, there's a little bit of work to be done to find the middle step of the podium, but at least you're already on the podium, and that's a good start, a good launch pad.
Yeah, absolutely, and sooner than I expected, to be honest. Like, GT4 is obviously a very popular category, and it's a bit of a specialist car too, I think. So, again, credit to Daiso. I know him from his V8 exploits, but he's made it very clear that he's also, you know, very, very, very capable tin top driver, and you know, reminds me a fair bit of Hobbo. Like, Hobbo used to do the same thing with his fuel saving, and how he used to win races in the most efficient way possible. Yeah, it's very, very similar. So, yep, I just, you know, I got a lesson there, and something, a bit of a slap on the wrist, mind you, and something I need to change up in my style of driving. And hopefully, if we can learn and get there, we'll get to the top middle step of the podium, as you say.
Speaking of slaps on the wrist, Matty Renshaw's about to get one. He's just been clean bowled at the Adelaide Oval, outdone by spin, and Australia are there for 3 for 109, and that is on the back of the dismissal there for Renshaw, bowled 30 off as many balls by Patel. and Alex Carey, the hometown boy, comes to the middle. Now, are you getting the opportunity to go and play race fan this weekend?
Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. My mate Kobe Jones is in Melbourne. Actually, chose probably the worst weekend of the year to go to Melbourne. So if I do, I won't have anyone to go with. But yeah, we'll see how we go. I wouldn't mind getting out there and showing a bit of love for our mate Jackson Evans, and what will hopefully not, but at the moment be his last Gold Coast 500 race as a primary driver.
Yeah, we did obviously come across that news earlier in the week, and at another point in time we'll have a chat about that, mate. We're running out of time here to have a chat with you though, because we've got Jeff Adams standing by, we've got Porsche Cup standing by. Are you having a steer there tonight?
Not tonight, mate. I put the Porsche Cup guy, or excuse me, I'll start again. Put the Porsche Cup on the bench for the season. Pre-series, I think, is a healthy number, but I've chosen probably 3 of the most different cars you can go: GT4, Trans Am, and Indy. So, yeah, trying to see if we can get a result out of all 3. But yeah, really enjoying the GT4 so far.
And looking forward to seeing you on the track in the Indy tomorrow night as well, mate. But before we do let you go, quick comment, because it was something I was starting to discuss with Daniel Correa-Sar, and then all hell broke loose and we didn't get a chance to come back and cover it off. The pace didn't vary all that much, but it was starting to look as though, I mean, you've mentioned fuel saving, that could be one factor as well, but it was starting to look as though the pace was, even though you were burning fuel and therefore the tank was lighter, it was starting to look as though tyre wear was creeping in, playing a little bit of a part there in the way in which the pace was waning, you know, albeit only incrementally, a tenth here, a tenth there.
Yeah, look, I think the tyre wear was a lot better than it was last week at Charlotte Roval, but that also has a lot to do with the temperature of the track. And yeah, the fact that we were fuel saving, not putting as much energy through those rears. The Mustang really likes to burn up rear tyres. So yeah, look, I think tonight it was a little bit, you know, it was better, but the track condition and the way we're driving the cars definitely helped.
All right, mate, very nicely done. Very good to catch up with you. Well done again. One of the great races of the season so far in GT4. And then the pit stops happened, and it was a little bit of an anticlimactic conclusion. But no, you put on a great show, kept our audience engaged and entertained. So well done for your part in that. Another podium finish, and considering that Ryan Jones wasn't on the grid tonight, Guy Leach finished well down the order in position number 16. I'd say you're looking at second in the championship going out of here. So well done on that, and we'll see you next week when we get to Brands Hatch for sprint racing. Geez, qualifying is going to be very important there, I think.
Absolutely love Brands Hatch. Can't wait. Yeah, good job, Andrew Dyson. Fantastic drive tonight, mate, and look forward to doing that for the rest of the season. It'll be good.
That tight, narrow canyon next week, Brands Hatch. Yep, good for, in terms of the drivers enjoy the racetrack, but bloody hard for overtaking. So you guys are going to earn your stripes next week, mate. We'll see you then. Go well.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Remembering, of course, this is the last full weekend of October as far as sport is concerned, ladies and gentlemen. So a lot to look forward to. The closer we get to November. Jeff Adams, welcome into you. Well done on third, albeit a very lonely one.
Yeah, at the start we were all sort of bunched together. Mav and Richard and I, we were all sort of together, and the other two were up the front sort of doing their own thing. Richard and I sort of figured we didn't have the pace of the front two, but we knew we could at least get one of us on the podium. And but unfortunately, Richard and Mav came together, and Richard over the radio owned up to it as well. So yeah, unfortunate mistake, but yeah, let me get on the podium.
Let me ask you this: did you have a good enough view of the incident, or have you seen it?
I did, yeah. I had a quick look at it after the race. I had a quick look, and what happened is Richard come up on the inside and he hit the curb, and it sort of, at that pace, it sort of washed him a little bit out wide and understeered, and he just understeered straight into Mav. So yeah, he owned up to it, apologised immensely over the radio as you would, and he felt pretty bad about it. So luckily Mav didn't come out of it too unscathed. He was lucky enough to get into the pits, and he still finished where he was anyway. So that was lucky enough in that respect.
Very nicely done. Let's talk about your thoughts on the Mustang, mate. Obviously, you saw that Dyson and Rayhana were in a bit of a different postcode tonight. What's the trick to trying to reel them in, or at least, run on pace, on par with them? Because once they got going, it was very clear that you were only maybe a couple of tenths away, but that balloons out over 40 minutes.
Yeah, unfortunately, with those two working together, they'd stretched out about 4 seconds, and then when they'd start battling, I'd reel them in a second or so, and then I had the pace around abouts there, but yeah, like you said, a tenth here, a tenth there, and yeah, you sort of just keep falling backwards. But I definitely got away with without making too much of a mistake there with my fuel, because I went one extra lap than I should have, and that's why the gap extended by about 4 seconds on that pit fuel window. I had to fuel save super aggressively. So unfortunately, but I was lucky enough to get away with it.
I wasn't sure if you'd taken one lap too little or one lap too many, but we did notice that that had occurred, and as you say, you did get away with it. And at the end of the day, you got to take your wins when you get them, mate. Especially, obviously, given the disappointing result for Richard. But geez, that looks good if you're a Ford fan at the front of the field, doesn't it? 7 in the top 8. That is a very dominant night. It says a lot about just how much people are enjoying that car and how dominant it is in its launch in the GT4 server.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a mix between, flavour of the month, brand new car, and and typical iRacing fashion, the new car tends to have a little bit more pace over the field, and then they reel it back after the first season. So there's definitely a bit of an advantage to it. But in saying that, the Aston Martin has its place, and it's proven with Richard and I, because we're both on the same pace, and that Mustang is fast in certain spots, and that Aston was faster in other parts. So you just got to make sure you just don't run into other people on the track.
Nice insights there from our favourite Alaskan, Sean Benici, chiming in on the comment thread there. Aside from the lap 1 incident, great racing, and he did well too, moving back through the field, recovering back into 8th position. Jeff, thoughts on next week, mate? Brands Hatch, very different to this one.
Yeah, very tight track. It'll be interesting if we get a big field. It'll be all about, and it's a sprint round too, I believe. So it's going to be an interesting round to try and keep it clean. I think that's going to be very important, and your quali lap is going to be extremely important. So and there's no toes and no teamwork in that respect, because it's a sprint round. So it's all on your own.
Yep, every man for himself. Good luck, as they say in the classics. Reminding everybody of that schedule ahead. Brands Hatch next week for round 5. Back-to-back sprint rounds, because we have the Red Bull Ring after that. Then to the Boot at Watkins Glen for a single race in week 7. Zandvoort for the next sprint round in round 8. Then the Hockenheim for 40 minutes in round 9, and then a 60-minute enduro from the Circuit de la Sarthe. That will be from the earlier time of 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time in round 10. Our graphics department's obviously taken a little bit of a vacation in recent weeks. Yeah, given that is a very different looking layout to what it normally would be on your screen there, but it still tells you all the relevant information, and that's the lay of the land. So what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different countries in the remaining 6 weeks. England, the Austrian Styrian Hills, USA, Netherlands, Germany, France. So we're doing pretty much a full tour of Europe with that quick detour via the United States for the next round of the series. Very nicely done. Jeff, what's next for you, please?
I got the skips on Friday. Have a bit of fun on that, but apart from that, it's start focusing on next week.
Very nicely done. Sean Beneath is saying best track on the platform, but he's speaking from a GT3 standpoint. Which is the best track on the platform? I need to know some clarification on that. I'm expecting that you're going to say an American circuit, but I'll be happy if you're not, because normally the status quo for the Yanks is to be parochial about their own turf and not anybody else's. So if you can let me know what you're saying there, Sean, I'd appreciate it. In the meantime, Jeff Adams, good luck in the skips. Well done again tonight. Great result. A podium finish for you. Does your championship no harm whatsoever there, of course. You were sitting 10th coming into the round. 5th, 12th, 7th, 8th. So first podium of the season, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for putting on the stream for us tonight. Thanks, Daniel, and thanks, Zach, and we'll see you around the traps.
That's an interesting comment. Brands is in the best circuit on the okay, righto. Interesting insights from Sean Benetti. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. We appreciate it. Good on you, Jeff. Thank you, mate. And Sebring second. Well, I'm not surprised by that. Brands does surprise me a little bit, though. I like from a commentary standpoint, I reckon it's great if you've got little cars on that circuit. So the Mazdas, the Toyotas, the Formula Vs. It can be a little bit tedious, a little bit tricky when you've got the bigger cars on the smaller width racetracks like that. But it does prompt some drama and some action. So we're looking forward to that next week, and that'll be just one part of a double header that'll get us to the halfway point of the term as far as Thursday Night Motorsport is concerned. We need a break on the way there. The Australians against the Indians. This is, of course, the second one-day international at the Adelaide Oval. 3 for 121, the Aussies. Alex Carey and I start on 6. Matty Short on 43. We take a break. They are chasing 265, so they need 144 to win, and they have still got another 25 and a half overs to chase that down. We're going to a break. These are the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. That was Disruptive Labs GT4. We've got PanTek Industries Porsche Cup on the other side. We're taking you to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for the second time on a Thursday night this term. Again, it's for sprint racing. We're looking forward to seeing what unfolds here when we get that contest underway at the top of the hour. It's only 8 minutes away, and it's all made possible thanks to Sprite and Cider, Flash Graphics, merch.tgsrci.com, PanTek Industries, Trophy AI, Waste Options, and Disruptive Labs. More in just a moment on a massive Thursday night across Facebook and YouTube. Stay with us. These are the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook and YouTube. This is a Thursday night. This is Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. This is the fourth round of the fourth term of action in the PanTek Industries Porsche Cup. And this is going to be a very frantic but entertaining round, but also a pivotal round of the series, the third consecutive sprint round of the campaign. Now, will last for a couple of weeks. It's not until round 8 that we then go sprint racing again. After this, next week will be regular racing, then a regular race in round 6 at Road America, and an enduro at Mount Panorama Ballast in round 7. Not until we go to Long Beach in round 8. Very American-centric championship this, where we have another sprint round to contend with. I'll cover off a bit of housekeeping firstly. This circuit's just a smidgen over 4 kilometres. The race distances tonight, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen. The first race, of course, which is coming up now, will be 12 laps, then 19 for the feature. The championship standings: Pro Split, Elite Split, Hayden Smith 151, Ben Pedersen 131, Sam Newell 122, Adam Hayne 113. Luke Page, tonight's pole sitter, on 98 points. Open Split: Greg Heaney 167, Barry Punter 132, 131 for Jason Wilkinson, Paul Wilson on 122 and 114 for Luke King. Front row: Luke Page, Ben Pedersen. Have a look at the difference there, 0.063 pole to second. Then Adam Hayne, Hayden Smith, second row. Stephen Lawrence, Patrick Klein, third row. Good to see him back on the grid. Marcus Cook and Willie Blair from the fourth row. Jared Knight, Chuk Fung Wong from row 5. Row 6, Rodney Golan and Donald Sabinal. Row 7, Simon Mesmo, John Akers. Row 8, Nick Wood, Adam Lavis. Row 9, Craig Bond, Russ Green. Row 10, the first of the open split, Luke King and Jason Wilkinson. 11, Angus Cook. Good to see him back on the grid, and Liam Banks. Row 12, Paul Wilson and Todd Suter. Row 13, Stephen Gallagher, Tony Baker. Row 14, Barry Punter, Greg Heaney. Row 15, Paul Wood and Rick Cowling Fitzgerald. Good to see him back. Dale Atkins, Peter Richards, Edward Rollo, JD Dent, Nathan Harvey, Luke Wegener, and Colin Bennett's going to make up this field. Glenn Arnott's in race control, so don't worry too much about that. 37 cars lining up, 12 laps ahead of us. The journey here, Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, latest round of the series. The Aussies now 4 for 132. No. Alex Carey gone cheaply for 9 off 17. Cooper Connolly at the crease joining Matty Short. Keep an eye on that. The Aussies need to win that to seal the series tonight. Otherwise, we're going to Saturday at the Sydney Cricket Ground for a series decider between the Australians and the Indians ahead of 5 T20 internationals, if you don't mind. I don't know why we're catering to the Indians and their love of the shortest form of the game as much as we are. But anyway, off and racing at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta in Atlanta, Georgia. Clean start so far. Personally, I would have preferred to see 5 ODIs and then the 3 T20s. But anyway, whatever. Luke Page, we know it's with a view to next year's T20 World Cup, of course, in the subcontinent. But anyway, we'll come back to that later. Great start, Luke Page, holding off Benny Patterson. Single file all the way through. Jared Knight up 2 spots in the opening sector. Marcus Cook, Willie Blair, the ones that lost out as a result of Knight's blinder of a start. Rodney Golan and Donald Sabinal make their way up ahead of Chuk Fung Wong, who's lost 2 spots. There's a few other gains and losses throughout the field. And Simon Mesimo's lost 21 spots. Greg Heaney 7, Todd Suter, Barry Punter 12 and 10 respectively. So there's been some trouble down towards the back of the field. But up the front, Daniel Carrier, we're clean. Off the road. Yep, and it's going to be Page with a slowdown as well coming down the hill. Daniel Carrier, we knew this was going to be good at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, and it's better than we could have possibly imagined. Page is going to slow down to wash off as they head through turn 1. That'll work to the advantage of Ben Patterson, but Adam Hayne has vaulted up the order early on. 4th, 5th and 6th remain where they started, staying out of this garbage for the moment, but keep an eye on it as it plays out. Page still has a slowdown to serve, and we're through the opening lap of 12. Now, wowee! Why on earth he did it there, I'm not sure. Could have waited till the back straight, but anyway, Oh, trouble in the back and gone. There goes Willie Blair. Willie Blair's in the wall. And far enough off the racetrack that it doesn't become a nuisance for anybody else. I'm sure race control will have a look at Luke Page's observance of the slowdown tactic in more detail. Adam Hayne, Ben Patterson, Hayden Smith, Luke Page, and Stephen Lawrence giving him a huge hurry up at the moment down the back straight for the second time. 12 laps the journey here, folks. Strap yourself in, buckle up, and hold on tight. It is going to be frantic. Down the outside goes Lawrence. Page to the inside. Lawrence through. Gone! Fucking gone! Page! Last time round he had a slowdown. This time he's had a tank slapper. Helped ably by Stephen Lawrence, who goes through and up into P4. Luke Page is in the thick of it already. The pole sitter tonight. 120.566 for Adam Hayne. That was where all the trouble started. Simon Mesimo and Todd Suter. We didn't even get to turn one. Wowee. And that was Luke Page. And look at Adam Hayne say, thank you very much, gentlemen. You squabble amongst yourself. I want to lead from the front. HTS Racing find themselves back at the front of the Porsche Cup. And it was interesting too because Adam Hayne, we spoke about it last week, had an absolute shocker in the feature race at the Detroit Grand Prix Belle Isle Circuit in Detroit, Michigan. And what a way to bounce back and respond to the critics. On the back of that, third, first, 15th, 6th, and not classified so far this season. Far from anything that you'd like to see on as far as trying to muster up some consistency is concerned, but we know he's got the pace to run at the front.
So now that things have settled down in these positions, and again, Hayne, well, no, as much as they were in the first couple of laps, they have, but there you go, you can see the fastest lap getting taken. No, Ben Pedersen will keep that one, 120.333. So, yes, Haynes seeing the mistake there. So it was very smart. Pedersen goes down the inside. Page goes to brake a little bit later, gets thrown off to the side. And then as they're recovering, Pedersen gets trapped on the left. Haynes sees the inside line, shoots straight up through the apex into the corner and takes the lead of the race. It was an epic, epic move. And now he's got a nice little 1.5 second buffer between himself and Smith in P2. Pedersen is hot on the heels though, and we can see that Page and Lawrence still in that fight.
Oh boy, Adam Hayne, Hayden Smith, then Benny Pedersen, 1, 2, and 3. Luke Page is 4th. Bondi's up 6 spots. Russ Green's up 6 spots. Angus Cook, Liam Banks, Paul Wilson, all up 6 spots at the moment. So too Stephen Gallagher and Tony Baker. So too Paul Wood. So too Dale Atkins. 6 is the prime number of most positions gained by about 6 drivers, funnily enough, at the moment in this race. Let's count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, it's 9. Oh, actually, that's quite hilarious, actually, when you think about it. Anyway, 9 is just an upside down 6. Let's press on. 1:19.928 for Hayden Smith, the fastest lap of the race at the end of lap 4. 1/3 race distance down. I'm going to not say anything more about that, or otherwise I'll end up in trouble. Up the hill we go. Hayden Smith, Pedersen, Page, and Lawrence, the top 5. Jared Knight back there in 7th spot. We're riding on board with Rodney Gowan now. 7 Allen behind him. Chuk Fung Wong. Amazing to think with all the jostling that's unfolded. Stephen Lawrence, Patrick Klein, and Chuk Fung Wong, all 3 of those guys, the only 3 in the field, they're inside the top 10 and they haven't gained or lost a position yet. Everybody else is either orange or red or green.
So again, that gap at the front there, so Hayden is taking it down. We saw in that previous lap, you got the fastest lap there, the only person to run in the 19s, the 19.93. So he is slowly dwindling that back. Pedersen is keeping right on the tail of him. So of course, Hayden and Pedersen both part of the Riot Sim Sports stable. To be honest, as they keep growing, just like Whiskey Business keep growing, it looks like half the field is filled with these guys. But in any case, they're doing well there, P2 and P3 at the moment. Stefan Lawrence, of course, also in the Riot Sim stable. He's currently fighting for P5 as Page is just starting to creep out ahead there. If we look at those lap times, 120. Pedersen and Luke had the exact same time, 120.2. And Stefan Lawrence just a little bit slower there with a 1 at 20.3. So 6 laps in of 12, halfway. Everybody started to find their groove. And let's see if Hayne can keep this lead.
Indeed. A very interesting point of this race as well. Next time out, of course, invert top 10 to kick things off. Then, of course, the CPS is going to be part of that as well. He's Bondi looking for a march into the top 10. If he can get by Chuk Fang Wong, he'll be up +7. Stephen Galich is already up +7. Bond, will he have a look to the inside? No, but he's in position to have a look as they head down the back straight. And see, this is the thing, right? I don't mind Bondi's plan of attack here. We can observe it and have a look at it in an analytical way when it comes to the longer races and playing the long game and saving fuel and saving rubber, etc. and so forth. But these sprint races, there he is down the inside. Chuk Fang Wong, goodbye.
Oh, he pulls it up too.
So
well
Bondi's
done.
up +7 and into the top 10. So he's in the invert pole position slot at the moment. He'll be loving life, the boy from Gundy Guy, but something tells me that his charge isn't done with yet. And that's the point, Dan. These sprint races are tailored to those no fear drivers. That's Greg Heaney, unfortunately, the Project X Whiskey Business Racing entry, exiting stage right at the left-hander that heads up the hill out of that sequence of squirrely zigzag S-bend corners at the top of the lap, that up-down undulation, and Heaney had real trouble getting away from that. But these sprint races are tailored to Bondi, aren't they? Because it's no fear. It's going like a scalded cat. It's throw caution to the wind, and he's doing it well at the moment, and that's unlucky for Tony. Tony Baker caught up at his second incident of that sort tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a rough one there. It looks like the rear just got away from him. He went onto the grass, came back. Of course, you get that debris all over your tyres. You don't have the grip there. You go to put the accelerator. You just end up spinning, and unfortunately, he just went into the front and touched the back of the competitor there and lost the front bumper. So he having to stay. He's down to P32 at the moment, having a look at the front of this field. Again, Adam Hayne in the lead, but Smith has been taking chunks from the time, lap after lap. We've only got 4 to go. And, oh, sorry, it'd be more than that. Now we have 4 to go.
Yeah.
Right, considering the final lap. Yep, so we can see.
Yep, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Yep, 5.
That's it.
Yep. You all right, mate? Go on.
Oh, sorry, it's just having a look at some of the times there. Okay, so yes, Smith being there.
Hang on 1 second. Here's Craig Watson chiming in. Hello, mate. This is Daniel Correa-Sarr here alongside me, Craig. He's the one that's doing the production and the direction of the broadcast tonight. So, yeah, he gets the shout out on your behalf, but you obviously weren't able to wire Dan in because we haven't had his name up on screen yet. But no, that is Daniel Correa-Sarr that's on the buttons for us tonight, mate. We appreciate the feedback as always. Hope you're enjoying the show. Which reminds me, actually, I apologise, young Marcus. I woke up to a Discord message on my inbox this morning saying, oh, you have a friend request from Marcus Watson. And I was like, okay, no worries. But I haven't actually been in Discord long enough to go into my friend request section today. So I'll look after that after the broadcast. Tell him I said g'day. Sorry, Dan, go on.
Oh, no, I was just having a look at the time coming down on the front there. So Smith is taking time out of him. Pedersen's keeping up there with his teammate as well. We can see Nick Wood shooting down the inside as they come down the hill. So he will take the position from Adam Lavis. And also, I'll just point out my slight mishap here, which was that I read that message that came up there, and I gave them a double thumbs up, knowing fully well that nobody can see me. So that's great.
That is brilliant. Yes, it's funny, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? For us, right, we work in the visual world. We work with all this magnificent, great, sophisticated technology, but Dan and I don't actually see each other. We just speak. It's an audio-only relationship we've got here at the moment. There's no webcams in the commentary box. You don't get to see. I've always been told I've got to head for radio. You only ever see my mug on camera when I'm over with bloody Rankin with the ASRG offering, the GT Pro Invitational Series, and there's a reason for that. But yes, it's very much like a radio booth here, except the radio announcers can't see one another like they would do if we were actually trackside at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. So I love that. Had you actually had your webcam set up, you could have been able to give him the double thumbs up on camera. That would have been great. Food for thought for next year. Actually, it just reminded me there's something I ought to put on the hit list with regards to when I go computer shopping at the end of the year myself, because my current PC doesn't have a camera attached to it, so it's going to be another consideration. Can I get a monitor that has a built-in webcam, or do I have to buy one on the side and plug it in manually? So I'm going to be asking Sam Stride a few questions in the next couple of weeks, because he's the one that's going to build the new toy for me at this stage. Lap 10 of 12, and we are 12 and a half minutes into the feature of the first part of the Porsche night, ladies and gentlemen. This is the feature of the program. We've had the entree. This is the main course. This is part one of a double header, the invert feature race, coming up very shortly, over 27 minutes or 19 laps, whichever comes first, and we're looking forward to that immensely. Hayne, Smith, Patterson, no one blinking just yet. Hayne under immense pressure here from Smith, however. Important in the championship fight, in the grand scheme of things, in the context of the big picture, that Adam Hayne has a solid run here, because Smith's got the lead at the moment in this series, and he does so to the tune of 20 points. He wants to extend that advantage, but Hayne's not making life easy for him at the moment, and now he's under threat from Benny Patterson, who's only 20 points behind him in the fight, and Patterson goes to the outside. How often do you see it at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta? 2 laps to go. Hayne holding on. Who's going to win the fight between the two Riot Sim Racing teammates? Can they find a way to displace Adam Hayne, or is Hayne about to get his second win of the term?
I suspect that Riot Sim Racing don't have papaya rules.
I don't think so. No.
So, to be fair, though, at this point, I don't think McLaren have them anymore either. But
no, exactly. No, actually, important to note, no Sam Muir on this grid. We've had Hayden Smith, Ben Patterson, Adam Hayne, and Sam Muir all pick up a win so far this term. So either one of these three is about to chalk up their second win of the campaign.
So the draft here
on the grid tonight, it's a drop round for Sam Muir. Go on.
Yeah, the draft here on this back straight is huge, and so they've really got to capitalise where they can. You can see Hayne trying to make serpentine, break that toe. You're technically allowed to do that when there's no corners coming up too quick, so that's okay. But there you go. So Smith can't make the attack this time by, but he's got another lap up his sleeve, so we'll see what happens. What he has to do, the trick here, is in Sector 2. You have to be close in Sector 2, because when you go up the hill and come over that little hairpin-esque corner, and there you can see the white flag, Barney waving it furiously there on the motor stand. When they come up to that hairpin, if you are very close on the early part, then you can essentially dominate the rest of the straight. If not, you burn up a lot of that chase-up time, and then you have to go later on the brakes on the inside. So this is going to be really key. Hayne had a great move to set up the lead. Now he's going to have to defend it harder than he ever had to defend it the rest of this race. And you'll watch, Smith is going to try and go deeper into that hairpin. I can sense it, because that's where the key overtaking opportunity is going to be.
Watch Hayne on the defence down here, but there are 2 different ways to do it. You've either got to defend for the chicane or defend for the run-up over the hill. I'm not sure it's possible to do both. Actually, you mentioned Barney. Actually, nice to see him turn up for a change. We've been to the Bend in Mexico City already this season. We haven't seen him yet. So it's about time he actually arrived on deck. Where's his absent note? Down the back straight for the final time. Adam Hayne, Hayden Smith. Is Smith going to make a late lunge? No. Hayne defends beautifully down mid-track. Through the left to the right, up the hill we go. I think Adam Hayne's done enough to hold on here. Masterclass performance from Adam Hayne, from third to first at the end of the frantic opening lap, and HGS Racing are back on top in the PanTek Industries Porsche Cup. Riot Sim Racing, second, third, and fifth in all of that through 7
Jared
laps.
Knight!
Oh, Wow, Patrick Klein just held him off. So Luke Page in for fourth from pole back to fourth. Stephen Lawrence, Patrick Klein, Jared Knight, Craig Bond up into eight. Donald Sabinol, Rodney Golan gets another invert pole. Jeez, he's the master of the invert pole. He racks up a fair few of them, does Rodney Golan, and he finishes 10th. Winner of the Open split, Paul Wilson again in 18th. Frantic racing in the Porsche Cup, 0.51 covering the top three. Then you go down the order, Page, Lawrence, Klein, Knight, Bond, Sabinal and Golan. Fung Wong was 11th. 12 went to Wood, then Russ Green, Adam Lavis and Liam Banks, the top 15. Banksy up 7 spots, Bond up 9. I think, actually, yeah. Bondy will be immensely pleased with that because he's got the most positions gained in that opening race with 9. Well done. Well done. And Stewie Ellis confirming what Craig Watson said there earlier as well. Absolutely it is. It's been a great broadcast so far from our mate Daniel Correa. So how good is it to have him back on the platforms of the GSRC, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen. And also, of course, it's allowed Matty Schmidtke to go to Wednesday nights. Adam Lavis, of course, the master of the craft on a Monday night. And, of course, Trucker Joe Baldwin and I will be in here with you tomorrow night. There's the analytics of all of that, ladies and gentlemen. That's the overall classification. The only non-elite competitor in the top 20 was Paul Wilson, the winner of the Open split. Let's go over the page, actually, if we can, Dan, and just have a look at all of that. I didn't get the full analytics of most positions gained, etc. But there's the rest of your Open split competitors, ladies and gentlemen. Willie Blair, after that early incident, ended up 25th. Luke King, Stephen Gallagher round out the podium for the Open split. Jason Wilkinson, Dale Atkins for the top 5. Paul Wood in behind them. Then Rick Cowling, Fitzgerald, Edward Rollo, Todd Suter, Nathan Harvey, Luke Wagner. Then you go back to Greg Heaney, Colin Bennett, Peter Richards, then JD Dent, then the non-finishers. Barry PanTek was early retirement. Tony Baker, a late retirement, 2/3 race distance, not enough to be classified. And JD Dent, a lap down. Oh boy, updating the cricket for you. Forward for 153, the Aussies. In the 32nd over, they need 112 from 110 balls. They need to go to run a ball here at the Adelaide Oval to try and seal the series tonight without forcing a decider on Saturday. It's still a big day in Sydney. They'll turn up in droves at the Sydney Cricket Ground to support that match. It's still out at the Adelaide Oval on a Thursday. That's a school day, a work day, and not a public holiday or a summer holiday or anything like that. That is an extraordinary turnout and a marvellous atmosphere over there. Great to see. That game will go down to the wire tonight. 4 for 154 Australia, chasing 9 for 264. They need 111 to win. We're talking about triple digits earlier, weren't we? 0-0-0 for Andrew Dyson, but he's got 1-1-1. 3 race wins so far on the GT4 campaign, and Australia need 1-1-1 to win that game of cricket. Now, we do it with thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, PanTek Industries, Trophy AI, Sprite and Cider, merch.tgsrci.com, and Flash Graphics. There's a 2-minute warm-up is over. Let's have a look at the date, weather, and whatever other settings that we need to have a look at here on the right-hand side of your screen. Can we do that? Yes, there we go. Oh, look at that. Have a look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't that just look bloody marvellous for you? October 22, 2025. Do you notice something, right? It's 6 o'clock in the evening and it's still daylight. You know why? They do daylight saving. Hello to our audience in Queensland. I just had to get that friendly jab in while I bloody well could. 3 km/h winds in a mostly east to northeasterly direction. And, of course, we've got 23 degrees the ambient, 20% humidity, clear conditions, 25 degrees on track, and it is dry. Golan and Sabinal the front row, Bond and Knight the second row, Klein and Lawrence the third row, Page and Patterson the fourth, Smith and Hayne the fifth. 6th row, Chook Fung Wong, Nick Wood. 7th row, Russ Green, Adam Lavis. 8th row, Liam Banks and Marcus Cook. 9th row, Simon Mesmo, Paul Wilson. 10th row, Angus Cook and John Akers. 11th row, Luke King, Stephen Gallagher. 12th row, Jason Wilkinson, Dale Atkins. 13th row, Willie Blair, Paul Wood. 14th row, Rick Cowling, Fitzgerald and Edward Rollo. 15th row, Todd Suter and Nathan Harvey. Set! 6th race of the campaign, PanTek Industries, Porsche Cup, Road Atlanta, let's go! Lights ablaze, one car a little bit slow off the blocks early, but thankfully it didn't trip anybody up, we're awake. Hold your breath, Bundy a good start up in a second, got on the inside of Sabinal. Got on the early leader at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Can we get through the first sequence of corners cleanly? They are so fraught with danger, the opening stages of these invert races. Because everybody's
no!
John Knight and Luke Page in the wall and done.
Oh, Fung Wong as well.
They're going everywhere. Fung Wong in trouble. Oh boy.
Oh, Jared's got severe damage on that tyre. It's crabbing huge.
Massive incident. Page and Knight have come together, and the knock-on effect is huge. Knight's done. He won't be in the results prominently after that. Luke Page on the tow rope. Oh my goodness me. We'll have a look at that again in a moment. But that's exactly why I say that these invert situations are fraught with danger. Replay of the start crash, did he revert? We'll have a look at that in a moment, Zuno. We'll have a look. As soon as we get a chance to draw a breath here, we will have a look. What I'm interested in, what I was saying there a moment ago, because the stakes are raised, the intensity is lifted, because the urgency is amplified, and you know, the onus is on the drivers that are at the pointy end of town to work their way back through. That's why you get bottleneck racing like that. That's why we sometimes see incidents like that. Unfortunately, it's been a shocking night for Luke Page. Yes, he got the pole position, was not able to convert, won't get a chance to have a second crack at it in race 2. Let's have a look again. He had the inside line. 90 tried to carry the speed around the outside, or I hesitate to say it, that could just be a racing incident, and an unlucky one at that. Fung Wong, I think, is going on his own. The pink car in the dirt there, I'm not sure who that was, didn't get a red Joe. Oh boy, just absolute carnage. Absolute carnage. Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Was that Banksy? Yeah, Banksy it might have been, the pink car. So that's the only pink car that I'm seeing on the red Joe sheet there in the pro split. So yeah, it was our good mate, our commentary colleague, Liam Banks. And this was just him taking evasive action, sacrificing himself. Yeah, nicely played, Liam. Yep. Oh, how full's the incident sheet already, Dan?
Quite. Quite.
Yeah. And only 17 to go. There's more where that came from, I'm sure. Hey, Benny Pedersen, fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 20.261. Nice start. Bondi still 6/10 of a second away from Rodney Gollan, but hounded by Klein, Lawrence, Pedersen. Smith's a second back. Then Haynes, Sobenal, Wood, and Cook the top 10.
So I'm actually really excited to see how this race develops. And the reason why is because, as you said in that first race, Rodney Gollan's really, really good at just managing to nail that inverse. And we saw at Detroit Belle Isle, he drove an amazing race. And unfortunately, was taken out towards the tail end. So we know that Rodney can keep the pace. Now he's gotten up front. We saw the chaos happen behind. You can see Pedersen just going a little bit. Looks like he's now tucked into Patrick Klein there. I'm not 100% sure how close he was before, but in any case, he looks to try and shoot down onto the outside. Let's see if we can beat him on the braking. Klein opens the corner somewhat. Doesn't quite get to the apex first, though, and we'll lose it again. So Pedersen back up into 4th. Well done. Oh, he doesn't want to let it go too hard, though.
No. Klein wants to
Smith on the inside.
That's the threat. Oh, he carried it around the outside. Klein, look at the grass. He's kicking up all the way through. And then here on the inside was Adam Hayne. He couldn't find a way through.
Oh, the snap.
And he had a massive snap, a massive moment through one. Jolted it, caught it, well played. That's good stuff. Smith there in 6th spot. Klein is 5th. Then Pedersen 4th. Lawrence, Bond and Gollan 3rd, 2nd and 1st at the moment as they make their way through. Simon Mesmo, good recovery so far, up 4 spots. And Stephen Gallacher up 8, John Akers up 9. Willie Blair up 8 spots. So too Todd Suter. Tony Baker up 10. They're the big movers in the forward direction so far. Rick Page down 28, unfortunately. Russ Green down 23, still on pit road. Glenn Arnott in race control, but also sitting in the safety car on pit road. has been there for 2 minutes and 50 seconds. And now look at this. Smith under pressure. On the outside, Quite on the inside. Smith's got it. Smith has got it that time through.
Hayne got him too.
I'm going to look at Adam Hayne. Very nicely done. 2 for the price of 1. And Smith set it up so beautifully. Klein tried to carry the momentum around the outside, and Adam Hayne wasn't having a bar of it. Swooped, pounced, timing, opportunistic, made it work. Well done. Bondi, up in 3rd spot at the moment, has lost out to Stephen Lawrence. Is under pressure from Benny Patterson. Tough assignment here for Benny. The boy from Gundagai, he will race hard. He will race defensively. He won't make life easy for the would-be championship contender. Down the hill we go, and Bondi's still within striking distance, potentially as Stephen Lawrence. Lawrence is trying to reel in Golan. They're actually going to do a better job just because of the way the road Atlanta circuit is comparative to the Detroit Belle street circuit. Dan, they will actually probably reel Rodney Golan in a lot quicker this week. Patterson sets Bond up down the back straight.
Just had
Get him 2 on the outside.
Yeah, he had a better exit coming out of that hairpin on the top, and so you can just dominate that corner. Now the thing is, if Craig can hold on, he might be able to get a bit of an advantage with the speed. No, but he did have to back out. So Pedersen will get P3 there.
Pedersen just helped him out of being able to fight that a little bit further, Bondi. That was good racecraft from Pedersen. Just parked his car in the right place to make Bond yield, and that is racecraft. That is brilliant from one of the 4 men of the series at the moment.
Yeah, there is a big issue for Craig Bond right now, and it's this. So he's had to give up that position. He lost it to Pedersen, but the problem is he has a train of 3 cars. They're flying right now, and so his defense here, Bondi's defense, is going to have to be pretty strong, because if he lets Smith through, Hayne's going to be like this, right in that gap. So he's got to be very careful. Either he has to make a decision and go, I don't want this fight, and back out and just let him go. Or if he's going to fight, he's got to fight hard, because Hayne is going to try and avoid paying a parking ticket like some people do and bumper run the back of Smith to try and take the position as well. So if Bond loses 1, he'll probably lose 2. Having said that, though, Hayne did have a bad exit there, so maybe he'll be all right.
So, have a look at the... Oh, this is interesting. Down the inside, Smith on Bond. Yep, got him and covered it off beautifully before
see what I was saying?
Exactly what your career was saying. Hayne wants to capitalise on the inside.
Oh, he's drifting!
PanTek and gone! Bond's in the wall. Was he? No, he kept it off. Hayne will go through. Bond, unfortunately, drops out of the top 10. Unlucky. Good hard racing, unlucky. I'll be interested to see what they say about that one downstairs. That was really good stuff. Forceful from Hayne on the inside, and I think that might be the Haynes' demise. Maybe, actually, can we have a look on board with Adam Hayne and just see if there might have been a little bit of movement trying to shut the door on Bondi's behalf? I want to try and analyse both sides of that incident. Let's have a look at this again, because the reality of the matter is there's 2 sides to every story. I know that better than most. But if the door was slightly... Have a look. Here we go down the inside.
Yeah, he's full turned right, so... Yeah, it's a little bit of a... it looks...
Yeah. I don't think Adam Hayne will actually have a case to answer on that note. 4 for 174, by the way, the Australians. Your take on all of that as a race car driver that's usually out there in the thick of it, Dan?
If I had to do a very quick fire analysis of that, what I would say is more than likely... So Haynes come on the inside. You can see that he's got the full lock there on the onboard. Craig has probably come across just a bit too much and then had the initial contact. Now, the unfortunate thing for Craig is that where the nose of Haynes' car was enough to the rear of Craig's car that it started a slide. And so Craig now has to counter steer to counteract that slide. loses time, and unfortunately, as we all say, Porsche does Porsche things, and he hasn't been able to pull it back. So because he couldn't pull it back, the drift got larger and larger, the angle got more and more, and then he's just drifted it off to the side. So I see that as a racing incident. Again, that's a very quick fire analysis there, but I see that as a racing incident. However, I'm not in race control. That's up to Glenn.
No, that's up to Glenn. But and as Josh is saying there as well, I mean, room plus gap to the curb is the wording on the rule book. So if he reckons it looked a bit squeezy, then yeah, I mean, Hayne was definitely there, but whether he was there, or whether he was up against the beat, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to get the wash up of that one. Have a look at Stephen Lawrence in the meantime, giving Ben Pedersen a hurry up. Pedersen's gone to the lead. Now, Godwin's gone back to third. Hayden Smith is fourth. But look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Riot Sim Racing entries in the top 10. 4 of them in the top 4. John O'Akers sitting there in 10th place at the moment. Paul Wilson, the leader of the Open Split, sits 11th, up 7 spots as well for Riot Sim Racing. Pit stops are underway as well. By gee, there's a lot going on out there at the moment.
Now this is a crazy race from our drivers at the moment. So 9 of 19, 10 laps to go. And let's just do a very quick check here of the possible obstacles. We see one of the cars out the back. So it's not raining, therefore there are no invisible puddles for Ben Pedersen's VR. Check. Right? He's leading the race and it's nice and comfortable. We're at Road Atlanta, it's kind of good. Check. Yep. So for the love of God, Ben, get in the pit lane. Don't exit early. Don't break the speed limit. Just win the damn thing. Like, you've got everything lined up here. So unless Stephen Lawrence decides that he's going to take you out or something, just win it, damn it.
Absolutely. Win it or bin it. Win it or bin it. Pedersen's got Reese one in his lap at the moment. 1:19.955 for Hayden Smith, fastest lap of the race. The problem is the 2-second deficit to Stephen Lawrence and Ben Pedersen at the moment. That's what it looks like on screen. Adam Hayden behind that, under pressure from Patrick Klein. That's a good little scrap too. 3 two-way fights, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. But are they really two-way fights between the Riot Sim Racing entries that are 1, 2 and 3, 4? I'm not sure. I'm not sure there's any papaya rubbish going on at the moment, or any Red Bull rubbish, or any Flavio Briatore Renault crashgate tactics going on there either at the moment. How's that for a 17-year-old reference? Right, now, down the hill we go. One of the great things I love about this racetrack is its rise and fall, its ebb and flow. The man didn't know there were bonus points for a 0x until a couple of weeks ago. Still manages to do a thing with a thing. Some people are just blessed. Yeah, absolutely. 100%, Josh. Good evening to you once more. We had the pleasure of his company in the booth before we went on air tonight, and it was good to catch up with him. He departed very swiftly when he realised the credits were rolling. That caught up on me as well. We did say 7:40. We got on air at 7:30. Hey, we're prompt and punctual here at the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Hope you're enjoying it. Have a look at the glare, the reflection of the sun bouncing down and up off the racetrack at the moment. Spectacular late afternoon, albeit past 6 o'clock. Hello, Queensland again, and the daylight still effective and prominent. The artificial light not taking hold, not taking over just yet. Pedersen the leader, Smith the fastest lap of the race, 1:19.847. We've just seen Donald Sabadell and Paul Wilson come to pit lane. Top 10 yet to stop. So to everyone down to Rick Cowling, Fitzgerald in 20th, with the exception of Sabadell and Wilson. So 18 drivers yet to stop. But we're well and truly through that cleansing cycle. And more importantly, now that we're at the 10.5 lap mark, we're into the second half of this race.
Down the back straight here. I don't know if we'll be able to get it by the camera angle, but just to talk about that sun, it is quite a killer. Actually, I think it's off to the left, so maybe we'll say that Hayden now going to shoot. He'll be looking to try and take the outside line. We know how good Golan can be in some of the defensive moves, so as long as he can keep it on the apex. The trick is you have to maintain the speed on the curb. No, he plays it safe, so that makes sense. He doesn't want to put too much of a fight there. He gives it up, and we'll see if he can counteract it on the next time by.
Jeez. Have a look at, like, you look at the main straight, you look at the gradient of the bitumen on there. on the main straight, and then you'll have a look at the gradient on the and the texture of the racetrack with the sun bedding down or out of, yeah, like that, out of 11A and down to 12. It is quite a sight. It's quite artistic at the moment. There's no doubt about that. Into pit lane comes Adam Lavis and Paul Wood, the two teammates, albeit in separate splits of this series. Pedersen leads from Lawrence. Smith and Haynen go on the top 5. Then we go back to Klein, Cook, Wood, Banks and Bond, the top 10. And then Atkins, Rollo, then Bennett, then Wilkinson, then Sabanal, then Lavis, then Suter, then Wood. Lavis and Wood will slip to 17th and 18th. In fact, Akers is going to come through and displace the pair of them. So Jono Akers effectively now the second best placed of those two have stopped so far. Sabanal the best placed. Todd Suter the only one outside the top 15 not to a stop just yet. And further beyond that, you've got Wegener, Harvey and Gallagher, JD Dent all yet to stop as well. Then beyond that, you've got Knight, Mesmo, Page and Richards all showing a lot down. Wow! Smith goes through and Lawrence goes to pit lane.
Right. Oh, and he picks up a... Did he pick up a black flag?
I'm not sure. Have a look when he comes. Yep. Well done.
Oh,
no way! Done. Stephen Lawrence's charge is done. He's got a black flag next to his name. This is going to be a stop and hold. This crucifies his race. Have a look at this. Defining moment for Stephen Lawrence, and he was having such a good run as well. This will be a painful 45 seconds or so for him.
Oh, no.
Bare inches in that. My goodness. That is painful.
Oh, you hear the desperation in the engine there. Full lockup coming in. I think he got caught out by the... Whoa, who's that in the background?
Calvin Fitzgerald off the road.
Oh.
Two retirements so far, Willie Blair and Russ Green. Glenn Arnott, of course, sitting in race control, but also registering in pit lane at the moment. Disregard that. Stephen Lawrence is going to plummet all the way down outside the top 20 as a result of that. He's still sitting on pit road, Dan, at the 43-second mark of a very long, painful, race-defining, race-ending stop and hold for him. He's out after 49.13, but his charge is done.
All right, well, maybe we have a sins of the father moment here. So hopefully he's taken the black flag of the pit lane shenanigans so that Ben Pedersen can spread his wings and win this damn race. Please, Ben, I beg you.
Yeah,
just
possibly so.
You're 2 seconds down the road. Just come into the pits, nice and easy, and win the thing.
Marcus Cook and Liam Banks, they're 7th and 8th at the moment. Benny Pedersen leads it, and have a look at this, +7 for first, second and third. +7 for first, second and third. So the invert is going to look very interesting if it stays that way. A third, a second, a first, a second, a third. It's going to make for some interesting tiebreakers with regards to determining round honours and the like tonight. Sets up a tantalising, fascinating championship, which next week goes to Imola for 40 minutes as well. And we look forward to that. Render Road America, which is always a belter for 40 minutes. And now look at this, Klein down the outside. Klein down the outside, goes by Golan. Again, Golan yet to stop. Klein's going to fourth. And that's the only threat for Golan at the moment. The two behind him are lapped cars. Here's Ben Pedersen to pit lane. Here's Hayden Smith to pit lane. Here is Adam Hayne to pit lane. Here is Patrick Klein and Rodney Golan all to pit road. Top 5 on the lane with 5 laps to run. Lap 15 of 19. Aussies are 5 for 190, by the way, folks. So they've taken back control of that fixture against the Indians. Golan, Bond, Haynes, Smith, Pedersen, Klein all on pit road. Nick Wood goes on for another lap. Pedersen, Smith, gone. Haynes, gone. Pedersen lost a little bit of ground there. Smith is now only 1.7 away. It wasn't 2 seconds. So Smith has been a little bit quicker off the jacks. That's a very good move. But still, Benny's got this one in the bag. Everybody else coming back out at this point. Has anyone else been slugged with a stop and hold? No, just Stephen Lawrence, who is now sitting down in 23rd position. Wowee, costly invoice for him. Where is he as far as the corrected order is concerned? He'll be classified at this stage as 15th in the elite split, the way things stand. Oh, what might have been for him. And now, Luke Wegener there in 32nd spot. He's one of the cars that's a lap down at the moment. JD Dent's going by him, and JD Dent's moving up to 32nd. Wegener back to 33rd. Peter Richards still showing a lap down. Luke King in 13th was just picked up. He is 12th in class. Or is that... Actually, no. That is a battle for the lead in class, isn't it?
Yes.
Am I right in saying that? Yes, it is.
Yes.
There's two open split competitors. There you go. Luke King's just going to try and displace Paul Wilson here. Wilson's not wanting to have a bar of it on the outside. King down the inside to the end of the back straight. Kingy is taking the lead away from the four-man of the open split at the moment, Paul Wilson. Wilson, of course, last week picked up a double on the streets of Detroit, did he not? Yes, and a first the week before that. So,
Cook.
To go with the first tonight in the first race, he's looking for his 5th podium on the trot in this series.
Angus
Cook to pit road. Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
He's done the same, I think. Yeah, he's picked up a black flag there.
He has, but the question is why? Oh boy, Luke Page back into pit lane as well. Needed to happen because he needs the tank top up to get into the checkered flag. And Sean Benici just asking whether or not Luke King was in the elite split. I was having the same thought actually, but no, he's showing in the open split for the moment, unless there's been a week-on-week change that we've not been made aware of. But usually Adam Lavis, when he makes those changes, also updates the points table to reflect that. And at the moment, he is showing 5th in the open split standings. So, and of course, as you know, Sean, as everybody else knows, at the end of the 3rd week of each term, Adam Lavis runs through the analytics, goes back through and runs the matrix across everything and crunches the numbers. And if he needs to, does some reallocating accordingly. So if King is in the elite split, then great. There's obviously just been a breakdown in communications at our end, but if not, then that is a battle for position. The Aussies are 5 for 195, by the way, so they need just 70 now off 12.4 overs, which is 76 balls, if I'm doing my numbers correctly. Right here, Ben Pedersen leads by 1.46 to Hayden Smith. So this has fizzled out, unfortunately. This has really fizzled. Can Smith offer anything up? He took 2/10 out of Pedersen the last time through. It's 1.4 as they head down the back straight. The toe is strong. Can Smith force the issue here and put the pressure on his teammate with only 2 laps to go? Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. There's the start-finish line at 23:25. 24:45, 26:05. We could have actually gone 20 laps here. We could have actually squeezed another lap in, but no, that's all right. We'll gift iRacing some time back. It's a 19-lap race, folks. We're going to finish it in 26 minutes and about 5 seconds. Pedersen, Smith, 1-2 for Ride. HTS, Adam Hayne, 3rd. Still +7 for the top 3. Pedersen needs this win. He's 20 points behind Smith in the championship. So he would love to be able to fend off any would-be pressure in the final lap and a half. That margin is now a second. So Smith is punching out or trying to punch out qualifying numbers here. He was half a second quicker than Pedersen last time through, Dan. This battle could well be alive. And will there be team orders or not? It'll be interesting to see. They are fighting for the same position in the championship. They've got to be mindful of Adam Hayne. They don't want to throw away a good result. Sam Muir's not here tonight. That's one less contender to deal with. But you don't want to be making trouble for yourself early on. Yeah. And the best way to avoid doing that is by playing it clean early on. And if we get to the back end of the series, you know, then have at it if you want.
I can't imagine that there would be rules in place there at Ride Sim Racing to prevent them from racing. I've never really seen that as we see the
No.
white flag there now on the timing tower. I've never really seen that in play in the GSRC. Now, obviously, there'll be a consideration, which is don't take each other out, but they'll still race to their full potential. The only thing is, with Pedersen having a 1 second advantage, unless he makes a significant mistake coming through here, like if he goes a little bit wide here, catches some gravel, and has to ease up, he's done that perfectly. So, again, unless he makes a mistake in the next uphill, in the uphill 90 degree, he's got this one, because Smith won't be able to make up a second on that back straight, because not only do you have to catch, you have to pass. So, yeah, he's done that. Oh, and he even goes sideways. Look at that. Smith is smiling at the camera as he comes out of the corner too. So it looks like it's going to be a right 1-2. And finally, Ben Pedersen gets rid of all the shakes, all of the bad juju that he's had with his VR. And it looks like, and I swear if something happens, I'm going to hurt myself. It looks like he's actually going to take the win here for Race 2 at Road Atlanta.
It'll be his 5th podium of the season. It'll be his 2nd win as well. And a much due
on the grass.
That, and a well-deserved one at that. Pedersen triumphs over his teammate Hayden Smith and celebrates by throwing it across the line at about 90 degrees. Well done, Benny Pedersen. 2nd win of the season. Finally, the monkey off the back in sprint race trim. Battle further back. 7-0 held off Cook and Klein for 6th, 7th and 8th. Hayne in for 3rd. Golan and Wood made up the top 5. Smith 2nd. So again, top 3 up 7 spots apiece. John Akers, one of the bigger movers in the elite split with plus 11. Greg Heaney, the biggest mover. No, sorry, my apologies. Tony Bacon, the biggest mover in the open split, up 15 spots. And it's still on between Sterling Gallacher and Edward Rollo down to the bottom of the hill. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh, look at this. Lorenz Hotsuda flying through the middle. Suda gets by Rollo. Can he get by Gallacher? No. Well, that was interesting. Luke King got the medal of Paul Wilson, brings his winning run to an end. Simon Mazzolo across the line. Was that 90 that he was with?
It was.
Oh, wow.
It was.
Bloody hell. You can't take them anywhere. You cannot take those two blokes anywhere. It's 9 minutes to 10 Eastern Daylight Time. I got one on the Cricket Australia did 59 off 75 for 206. That was Simon Mazzolo and Jared Knight ending. It's in Jared's favour, but I'm not sure what race control will think of the post-race shenanigans there. A very messy entrance to the start-finish straight as they cross the line with off-track alerts being lit up across the screen. Ben Pedersen, Hayden Smith, Adam Hayne, Rodney Golan. See, the master of the invert. Every time he gets an opportunity, there's a clear track in front of him. 9 times out of 10, he'll go out and make the most of it. He didn't end up on the podium tonight, but by gee, that's a great charge. Another good result. 3 rides in the top 4 and Entropy in 5th through Nick Wood, then Donald Sabinal, Marcus Cook, Patrick Klein, John Akers, and Liam Banks. Banksy up in the top 10. John Akers up 11 spots, the biggest mover of anyone in the elite split. The open split, the most positions gained went to Tony Baker plus 11. Luke King from Paul Wilson, Paul Wood, Dale Atkins, Greg Heaney as far as that open split top 5 was concerned. Bondi recovered for 14th. I'm not sure he'll be terribly happy with any of that. And yeah, Adam Lavis just missing out on the top 10 at the expense of Liam Banks. So very interesting. Further down the order, Page, Harvey, Dent, Ben Richards, Wegener, all up down. Blair, Green and Arnott. Well, Arnott a non-starter, but Blair and Green retirements in all of that. And very good stuff. Yes, Sean Benici, you're right. Luke King for reopen win. And maybe you're right. Maybe he'll be promoted to the elite split now. I'm not sure. We'll wait and see. That'll be at the discretion of Adam Lavis. Very nicely done. Well, if they don't hurry up and get in here and have a chat to us, we might just call it quits early and go and watch the cricket. How's that sound? Pat Klein and Craig Bond standing by to have a chat to Glenn Hardy in race control. Well, Glenny's not going to get out early tonight, is he? There'll be some analysis in all of that. Fallout. Oh, that was... Oh, wow.
Go in reverse.
So Josh Zuno was right. Josh Zuno picked out a mile away, and I don't know how we missed it, but yeah, you're right. Russ Green had reverse selected. I wondered why he balked it. He didn't have the thing in gear. He had it in reverse. Oh. 0 dear. Well, that's, yeah, that's a first. We've been watching racing around here for a while, but it got worse for him too, because he just got towed up by the... So, firstly, he's in reverse, and secondly, he's in trouble down at the bottom of the circuit, and then that was the big incident. So, Fung Wong and Banks ended up in trouble there, but the big incident before that was Page and Knight, of course. Can we have another look at that? I wouldn't mind having another look at Page and Knight on that opening lap, because that was a monumental shunt. Felt sorry for Luke Page. I mean, yeah, okay, whether he was in the right or wrong here, I'm not going to have a say on that. He had his nose up the inside, Knight went the outside. Look, that's just kart racing. That's an incident as far as I'm concerned. I don't think you can attribute blame to anyone more so than the other in that one. I think they're both equally guilty, so just throw it out and move on. But the interesting thing in all of that was, unfortunately, Luke Page had the one-lap pace tonight. He just wasn't able to go on with it in the elongated longer runs of the two races. So again, we talk about that all the time, don't we? Qualifying and racing, two completely different kettles of fish. And I mean, yep. And Jackson Rayhana spoke about it earlier, didn't he? But being able to nail the 1%ers. So qualifying is only one part of the narrative. The next trick for Luke Page is going to be turning the qualifying pace into race trim, and then hopefully turn it into, rather than just having the point for pole position, turning it into a result as well. If you want to comment on that for me, Dan, before I press on here.
Sorry, I was just having a look at some of the channels, so it looks like we've got some people joining us in there. Could you just repeat that last?
I was saying the challenging, dynamic that Luke Page now faces is converting that one-lap qualifying pace that he showed beautifully tonight, and converting it into race trim, because they're two completely different beasts. But one is more beneficial than the other, because qualifying is only part of the narrative. The racing is where your points are earned.
No, that's exactly right. Sorry for missing that the first time. Yes. So, it's well known. See, the problem with qualifying is the snippet, right? You usually get perfect conditions. You only really need to smash out that performance for one lap. But when you put it across a race, now you've got more things to think about. You've got fuel, you've got tyre wear, and you've also got racing with other competitors. You're closer to everyone. There's dirty air, there's things like that. So 100%, he's just got to work on that racecraft, on the race trim, as you said, the race trim versus the qualifying trim. But we know he's fast, so it's only a matter of time.
Indeed, rightio. Mr. Heaney's here, Mr. Wood is here, Mr. Smith is here, Mr. Pedersen is here. With due respect to my GSRC committee hierarchy, I'm actually going to start with my two mates from Riot Sim Racing who ran a bloody riot tonight. Stephen Lawrence, no, you're right. Although he might actually... I didn't know about to be honest with you, Stefan, I didn't either. What's up? What updates are you talking about, Hayden Smith? Do you know?
Yeah, so they pulled the pit entry back, so you can just see it.
That makes sense. Ah, there we go.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they moved it back a long, long way.
Righto, and you're not missing an opportunity to throw your mate under the bus either, I see. Very nicely played. But you actually
might have fallen foul of that in PLM.
I may have realised that, yes. Hello, Greg Heaney. The interesting thing as well, in all of that, right, so let's analyse the crap out of tonight and start with what you just said there. If they've moved the pit lane back, the one thing that our good mate, Nick Fodiatis, and Paul Wood will attest to this as well. He's always said, hasn't he, Woodsy, the first thing you do, and he said that every time he's in the commentary box, and it doesn't matter for what category, what sort of race, anything like that, practice your pit lane, know your pit entry procedure.
Yes, that is true. He's drilled it into me over the years.
Exactly, which is why you actually worked it out tonight and got away with it all right. Get to you very shortly, mate. Get to Greg Heaney as well. Hayden, well done. A pair of seconds, nicely played.
Yeah, it would have been nice to at least get one P1, but she wasn't to be. But I suppose that's all right. Be a bridesmaid twice in a row.
Well, again, it's only week 4. We were wondering if there was any multi-21 garbage going on within the sim racing chat, within the discussion that would have been playing out during that race, mate. Clearly not. Benny had a 20-point deficit to you going into the round. You got the better of him in race 1, you miss out in race 2. But this championship is set up very nicely for you guys to duke it out and potentially bring home a Team 1-2. Adam Haynes going to make you work hard for it, though.
Absolutely. Yes, he will. It is teed up to be quite interesting for the rest of the time if Ben and I manage to keep doing this, if we manage, at least one of us. Yeah, even race 1, I guess, part of the push, we had a quick chat to each other after the first race saying we didn't really care which one of us won race 1 as long as one of us did, and neither of us did in the end. But my plan was to sit behind him and bump draft him up onto the back of Adam, and then Benny made the mistake and he told me post-race his plan was to do the same to me, but we just didn't play out properly.
I certainly didn't. However, let's acknowledge the fact, mate, that the last 3 weeks have been brilliant for you. 3 sprint rounds, 4 second place finishes, 2 wins. You've got through cleanly. You needed to do that. I'm loving the fact that you're able to get the banter going whilst we're also having a serious discussion here about the racing. But there was no point in trying to win it or bin it tonight, because it's about staying clean early on, because you go into the second half of the season, you've still got 1 drop round up your disposal, up your sleeve at your disposal. If I could speak English, it'd be good, wouldn't it? And also, you're racking up the consistency, mate, and consistency wins championships, as you know. That's how Corey was able to pick you a couple of terms ago. It's all shaping up very nicely for you to be right there when the whips are cracking again in 6 weeks' time.
Absolutely, and first thing with the team having banter, that's all this team is. We're not the smartest bunch behind the scenes. But in terms of setting it up, yeah, that's it. It seems like we've got quite a few of us interested at the moment, so it keeps the banter high, keeps the interest high. Yes, I've had some good sprint rounds. They're usually my better rounds, opposed to the longer single race, so I guess I kind of had to get these out of the way in good nick, because I usually do a little bit poorly at the longer ones. But yeah, we'll see how we crack on.
All right. Now the next thing. Talk me through the process tonight, mate, because obviously Road Atlanta, great racetrack, lends itself to good racing, but you had to stay out of some trouble, especially in the early part of that invert feature race. You would have been breathing a sigh of relief to know that the garbage went to one side and didn't bounce back onto the racetrack. You guys were able to escape all of the garbage that was going on around you.
Correct, that's it. I don't know, it happened probably 2 cars in front of Benny, I think it was. And you can see it happening, because turn 1 they were trying to go down the hill side by side, and that's just, I don't know who was involved, but it's not the wisest choice to try and do that in any way, especially not lap 1. So I sort of knew it was going to come, so I did roll out a little bit just to give myself some better visibility. And fortunately, as you said, it stayed, at least for a little while, stayed against the wall. I don't know if they ended up firing back across or not. But that just gave us 2 positions straight up, which on this track, for an invert, is incredibly handy.
Well, I was going to say Adam Hayden knows all too well about the benefits of being able to get 2 positions in one hit. He did that in race 1, of course, after some early squabbling that was going on. I think Pagey was involved in that. It might have been Benny as well. But, mate, talk me through the fact that now we've had 3 sprint rounds on the hot. What are your thoughts on going back to 40-minute races the next 2 weeks and then a 60-minute one the week after?
Not looking forward to it as much. Like I said, I prefer the sprints. And I was really keen. I thought we had a 1-2-3 for the sprint tonight. Or a 1-2-4 for a little while as well. 1-2-3-4.
Well, yeah, we got the 1-2-4, but then bloody Stefan cocked up the pit lane entry, as you've already thrown him under the bus for. Yeah,
exactly. We'll just feed him about that during the week. Don't worry. We'll take care of that as a team. But
Benny's right. The Quali was paying well.
It would have been great.
Would have been a great photo opportunity for you guys, but I guess, I mean, this is something for you guys to celebrate, isn't it? The fact that you're here, you're a force to be reckoned with. You've got genuine contenders on any given night. And poor old Rodney Gold, I mean, he's the master of the invert, isn't he? A stunning performance last week in the feature in Michigan, Detroit. And then backed it up. You guys took a couple of laps to reel him in and get by him, but he held his own and brought it home in 4th place. That's a solid result considering he was 10th in the opening race.
Absolutely, and he was on for a banger too, right? Last week at Detroit until he wasn't. Well, I guess, he still had a good result actually. He just got pipped by Benny, so he could have been on the podium last week too, right? So, yeah, absolutely. I think most of the team's making strides forward, right? We had a few of us missing. You wouldn't think that considering we managed to, but up a little bit. Yeah, the guys are moving forward, which is really cool, which is what's generating a lot of the banter and a lot of the fun in amongst ourselves. Just because collectively we are pushing forward, which is what we're hunting for.
I'll bring Benny in for a moment so that he has 5 minutes to get out of the YouTube comment section and then press on with the post-race show here. Before I let you go, Hayden, let me just jump in and give everybody an update. It's 5 for 235 at the Adelaide Oval. The Aussies have just hit the go button here and put the foot down. 5 for 235. They need 30. They've got 5 wickets in hand and they've got 53 balls in which to do it. So it's shaping up very nicely for the Aussies right now. Next stop for us, mate, is Imola. Thoughts on that?
That's a track that I enjoy. It's a little bit like this in terms of needing to have a good flow up. So looking forward to it.
All right, at least it's a circuit to your liking. It might not be the right race format to your liking, but at least the circuit is one that you're comfortable with. Looking forward to seeing how you go there, mate. Well done tonight. Great spectacle. Thanks for that.
Cheers, thank you.
A pair of seconds, a first and a third. I tell you what, you boys, this is going to be very interesting because Paige, you got the bonus point for pole position. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to come down to incident points, whether anyone picked up any bonuses there. I don't think anyone here is eligible for most positions gained either. So we could be looking at potentially a 3-way tie for the round honours tonight because Haney picked up a first and a third, Benny a first and a third, and Smithy 2 seconds. It's very, very tight at the top in this series at the moment. But Benny Pedersen, finally, the VR cooperated. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I'm more excited to see how the team's going, mate. It's been great seeing on the front, and the qualifying too was impressive. Like, I actually had a PB for my qualifying, and to get pipped, I was like, wow, this is awesome. It's good to see the whole field sort of closing together.
Well, I guess the notable absentee is Corey Lazarus, isn't it? And we spoke about this a few weeks ago, didn't we? The reality of the matter is we've been marvelling in what he brings to the table, as you know, even though that was a cause for despair for your colleague and your teammate Hayden Smith a couple of terms ago. We marvel in what he brings to the table, but it was always going to be interesting to see how the narrative changed and what it looks like in his absence. And you're right, it's pretty bloody competitive, but it bodes well because it makes you guys want to lift your game and improve and work on it, but it also makes us want to turn up and enjoy it on a Thursday night as well, mate. It's a terrific series right now.
Yeah, it's great, and we're all bouncing off each other, so I think Corey will come back next season though. I mean, he's going to be, if we come here again, he's 0.3 quicker than everyone around here. But yeah, look, I think we're closing the gap somewhat. Don't know if we'll ever close it completely, but it's getting closer.
Your thoughts on your own performance tonight, mate? I mean, obviously, third in race one, but I mean, you're a bee's proverbial away. It was great to see you, Hayden, Adam go toe-to-toe. Obviously, no real opportunities presented themselves for either one of you to have a crack at Adam, let alone each other. And then in the second race, you built a little buffer early. You got away from Hayden. He chewed away at that deficit through, firstly, the pit stop and then the couple of laps that followed that. But you had the track position, and that was king.
Yeah, I was looking at him on there. It was good to see him start to run me down and make me sweat a little bit more, because it obviously makes it a bit more enjoyable when there's a bit more happening towards the end of the race on the longer one. Yeah, look, as I said, it's great to see the guys just lift their game and want to work at it and just get faster. Like, I dare say, I reckon Hayden's going to be tough to beat this year. I see him doing really well for this season.
In saying that though, you've got a role to play here in either potentially upsetting the apple cart and replacing him as the championship front runner, surrendering him, or sorry, restricting him, displacing him to be the bridesmaid again. I know that would be a bit of painful sort of pill for him to swallow if that was to eventuate, mate. But if it doesn't, and he does lead this thing home in 6 weeks' time, you've got a role to play here in getting a right Sim Racing 1-2, which would be a bit of history for the team in its own sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal, but if it means one of us, having to sacrifice the other to win, we're not prepared to do that.
Well, that's exactly right. The other thing as well, was everybody else surprised by the absence of one S Newer this evening? Because there's another championship contender that, had he been on the grid, it would have flipped the script again.
Yeah, 100%. It definitely changed it up, and I hope he's all right. I don't know, he might actually have a life tonight, who knows?
Yeah, you're right, absolutely. Some of us do, most of us don't. 5 for 243, by the way, the Australians. That game will be over before we wrap up the post-race show here. We've still got Paul Wood and Greg Heaney standing by. Benny, talk us through the tactics in all of that, because really the seas parted nicely for you on the opening lap of the feature race, and that set it up almost as well as you could expect it to. It's always challenging to get through those early stages of the invert, but when you can avoid the carnage and be a beneficiary of that, it makes the task a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, but this race I dialed it back a little bit with the early aggression that has cost me over the last couple of weeks. Just sort of played it out a bit slower and just wait for the right opportunities, and yeah, it worked out all right. I mean, I was still nervous coming to this pits because it's all new to us. It's an awful entry. It's almost as bad as Montreal, actually, but yeah, but we stuck it and we got through it, so happy with it, very happy.
But I guess you guys aren't any strangers. You're not immune to changes, Benny. They're always doing this, aren't they? But for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. But they're always throwing challenges your way, and you guys are finding a way to stand up and accept the challenge and take it and run with it.
As I said before, it's like we don't have a life, it's just sim every night. I'm working out all the kids. Yeah, they also change what the off tracks are. So you need to learn the track, and then you've got to relearn it again to see what the track, the extension of the track is. But yeah, we love it. We've been nice. So yeah, it's really enjoyable.
You almost need someone within the team that's got a science degree or something to go out and do all the assessments for you, and then come back with the pointers and the handbook, the guidebook to any given piece of real estate that we go racing on. Speaking of which, mate, that for you was your second win of the season tonight. Adam's got 2 now as well. He's won a couple of sprint races. You got a feature win a couple of weeks back in the race at the Bend, and now, of course, you backed it up, finally getting a sprint win, mate, so that was good to see. Thoughts on where we go from here, knowing that Sam's going to come back into the fight? You're going to have to contend with Adam Hayne as well. I know you're not too worried about Hayden because he's within your stable and he's your teammate, but who's the bigger threat? Because Adam's got great pace without some luck in a couple of instances already this campaign, and we know what Sam brings to the table.
Yeah, right, both of them. Yeah, Adam and Sam are a serious threat at any given time when they're on the money. So, yeah, look, I'm looking at everyone like they're always going to be a threat, so just got to try and outwork them.
Bit of breaking news. Mitchie Owen's gone for 36 off 23 at 6 for 246. 4 wickets in hand and 19 runs required for the Australians now in that second one-day international. Happening, of course, over at the Adelaide Oval. Sold out crowd tonight. It's extraordinary on a Thursday. Everybody just chucking a sickie, I think. Talk us through your thoughts on Imola, mate. Hayden's a big fan of it. Not necessarily the fact that we're going back to a one-race format, but we know that you enjoy the one-race format.
Yeah, I do. I need work at Imola. It's not one of my fastest tracks, but I generally say that before a full week of practice goes in, so hopefully we'll come up to speed. We'll see how we go.
Lean on Hayden a little bit. See if he can give you some moral support.
Yeah, like we've got a lot of data behind the scenes that's helping all of us out. That's what, because some drivers quicker in some sections and vice versa. So it's certainly assisting and boosting the team performances for sure.
All right, very nicely done. I'm going to let you two go on that note. Hayden's still here with us, but is there anything that I've missed or anyone that you two would like to thank before I let you go?
You can run through it, Hayden, all the sponsors, buddy.
I can't hear Hayden at the moment.
Oh, what about that?
Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. That's better.
If like I said, we're not smart, right? I'll flip my boom mic up. So, I'll do that. I'll be so the V8 Drive Day in Perth, Garage Automotive in Perth, Sim Racing in Focus podcast, Print Racer 3D. You can buy your sim rig shenanigans from there. Eye liveries paints for the designs as well, and some card effects designs for some team shirts that we've got going on. So, cheers.
All right, boys, very nicely done. 1-2 in the feature. Go and celebrate that. We'll see you when we get to Imola this time next week.
Cheers, man.
See you, Zach. See you, bro.
Let's bring in our committee executive right now. Who wants to go first, Paul Wood or Greg Heaney?
I'll let the imposter go first because he pinched the points from me.
I apologise, I'm sorry.
That's a nice introduction, isn't it, Paul Wood? Good evening to you, mate. Well done. Some great racing out there tonight. Talk us through your thoughts on all of that. I mean, unlucky in the first corner of the race in Brazil at GT4, if I'm doing my homework and research correctly, but nice recovery here. When we look at the result sheet, 26th outright in race one. I don't know what that equates to in class terms, but 16th outright and third in class in race two, and up 10 spots as well, mate. Well played.
Yeah, thanks. Very good night for me. The both Bailey ladders, Mustang and Porsche, were very interesting. The Mustang, as was evident, finally coming to grips with it. Made a bit of progress this week. The car was feeling really good. Managed to fix my steering problems with my actual hardware, so that helped as well. So all in all, I felt pretty comfortable. So I think it showed in the fact that I had a pretty consistent pace, and yeah, the car just felt really strong, and even passing the Porsches and some of the other cars, like, they were quite easy, where I've been struggling every week basically up until now. So really happy with that round. As to the Porsche, I decided to jump in. I've been meaning to try and get in the last few weeks, but haven't had the chance. But yeah, when I jumped in, it's been, I think, almost 12 months since I've driven this car, so I had to reacquaint myself with it, so it took a little bit, but by the end it all started to come together, and as I apologised to the boys, I didn't realise I was in third spot. I was just sort of eyes forward, trying to keep the car straight and get as much pace out of it as I could, and it wasn't until we got over the line there and they told me, and I'm like, if I'd known, I'd sort of back down, let the boys have the points, but because I'm hoping to do a few more races this season, but I don't know if I can get back for all the rest, so but all in all, fun evening. I really enjoyed both those races.
To be fair, I'm not sure where your loyalties lie, Woodsy, because at the end of the day, you're in the Aussie Racers stable. The only two guys behind you there in reference from another stable, so each man to themselves. But I understand the other side of the logic to the method of the madness there as well. In saying that, though, mate, let me just address a couple of issues or a couple of comments that came in on the right-hand side of the screen whilst you were answering the first question. Firstly, Luke Page, appreciate the feedback. Bad luck to you, mate, but well done on the pole position. Great pace. Good to see that. It's now about, as we said earlier, ticking the next box, and that is turning it into a race result. That'll come with time. Well done. And secondly, Rich, I wanted to know if you stuck it out with VR or whether you're back to the triple screen.
I'm actually still on one screen. I'm still on the 49-inch. There at the moment, my VR's out of commission, so unless I win the lotto, I probably won't get back into that. So, I'm just back on the screen.
There you go. That answers Richo's question as well. I've got Strider giving me some correspondence with regards to the cricket, and then I'm having a look at the cricket memes page on Facebook, and I'm starting to think that he might be running that. I'm not sure. I haven't seen them in the same room at the same time, so I can't confirm it one way or another. Let's continue on. Bondi's just slid into the booth as well. Do want to have a chat with him, actually, get his take on the incident with Adam Hayne, and also get his thoughts on the pace that he had, because he left nothing on the table tonight. It was really good from the boy from Gun to Guy. So we'll get to him very quickly after we get to Greg Heaney. So stick with me, Bondi. Woodsy, talk me through all of that, because obviously I'm going to have a look and see if Adam Lavis has updated the points as well before we go any further. It would appear as though he hasn't as yet got to either of those, so it might be an early start for Adam. So what we'll do is we'll steer everybody in the direction of tomorrow night on our broadcast of the Road to Windy series for an update regarding the updated point standings out of tonight. And we usually do a bit of housekeeping at the start of our Friday night broadcast. More on that in a moment. Woodsy, if you are able to make it a regular occurrence, what are you hoping to achieve here, mate? Because obviously Imola's the next stop. We go out of sprint racing. We're back to the one-off 40-minute affair. What are your thoughts on Imola and that format?
Oh, look, Imola always throws up some good racing. If I can make it again, I mean, I'll always try to go for the best result I can. I probably can't really get anywhere in the championship because I think I've just missed too many weeks of the round, of the season, sorry. But, yeah, look, you know what, I'll come out, I always give it the best I can, and I'll take whatever I can get. So it's I enjoyed it. It reminded me why I enjoyed these cars. They are a fun car to drive, even though I had to wrap my head around having no ABS and that sort of thing, because I've mainly been doing the GTs for a while. So yeah, all in all, it was fun. But yeah, we'll keep plodding away and keep seeing we can improve it, and I'll try and get some more results for the old Bailey ladders. So.
Adam Richards, I'm a proud Dapto boy because Paul is putting us on the map. So what you're telling me, gentlemen, and I've been to Dapto, lovely part of the world, but what you're telling me is there's more to Dapto than the dog track that they've recently gone about closing down.
There's always more to Dapto, yeah, it holds lots of secrets.
I've been to the Leagues Club there. It's a magnificent bloody facility to go and get a feed. I have some friends that live down there that I always go down and see near Wollongong at the start of the Christmas New Year holiday period, just to shoot the breeze and switch off and relax, and it's always nice to catch up with them as well. Hey, very nicely done. Before we go any further, Woodsy, what's next on the agenda for you, please?
At this stage, I will probably be GT3 on Monday, so see if I can keep up the thing. I threw away a potential win on Monday night in the Aston as well, so I wasn't happy about that. But yeah, coming to grips with that car as well. So things are slowly coming together as I'm coming to the end of the season, which always happens. So yeah, see if we can keep rolling, keep getting the results, and yeah, just keep plodding on. But yeah.
All right, mate. Anything else to... I mean, it was great to see you back on the grid, but it helps that it's a racetrack like Road Atlanta, which always lends itself to good racing, a bit like Imola. It
is, yes, yeah. But yeah, probably the one last thing, as I say, you know, if the guys listening, thanks to Bailey Ladders again. I don't know if Dick told you, but they're back for our... we're heading, I think, for 10 seasons in a row now with them as supporters, but we're quite happy with that. We got word this week, so that's probably why we've lifted our spirits. So yeah, we're around for another season with them. So yeah, thanks to them for sticking with us and staying on board.
And that's too good a segue for me, lifting spirits. And on the subject of spirits, we're going to talk to whiskey business in a moment. Well done to you, Paul Wood. Thank you for that, mate. Great to catch up. I'll let you go and pay Glenn Arter to visit in race control and see if he's got any correspondence that he needs you to cast your eye over in race control. Because I know that from a steward standpoint, there's always something going on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, mate. Thanks for that. Go well.
Thanks, guys.
That lap one incident again between Luke Page and Jared Knight, very lucky not to be a lot bigger than what it was. And especially when you had a look at the fact that it went on and you had Chuk Fung Wong and Liam Banks also caught up and a couple of other things going on. But we're lucky to get away with it. 6 for 253, the Aussies. They need 12 runs and they have 35 balls in which to do that. The series is done. It'll be Australia 2, India 0, and off to the Sydney Cricket Ground on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Yes, Eastern Daylight Time. Bit like American Eastern Daylight Time, right at Atlanta, where we were racing tonight. We had a race that started at 6 o'clock server time. The sun was still out. What a lovely thought that is. I wouldn't know what it's about. I live in Queensland. Hello, Greg Heaney. Good to have you in the booth, as per usual. You mentioned that Woodsy took some points away from you, but really, you get most positions gained as far as the elite split, as far as the open split's concerned, do you not, in that second race?
I would assume so, being that I think I got belted from pillar to post in the first one.
Well, I was going to say, what were your thoughts on that, mate? Because unfortunately, as good as the car looks, it doesn't look good when it's not pointing the right way on the racetrack.
No, well, that is true. Look, I mean, they're all racing incidents. I mean, there were some penalties handed out by Glenn in race control. Because like lap 1 down the front straight, I'm like, yes, there's a gap. Okay, cool. Hang on, I'm pointing in the wrong direction. Was that my fault? I was sure I left enough space. And then getting sent through, I think it's turn 6 maybe, or turn 7, the one at the bottom of the hill after the downhill run. With I think it was probably a little bit ambitious from the car that was behind me. I can't remember exactly who it was that was there, but yeah, I mean, I was compromised off that, but yeah, pushed on and knowing it's a sprint round, stick around for both races and potentially come out further up than I was to begin with. So I also want to congratulate Luke King on getting the win in the open split, and thank Glenn Arnott for one hell of a battle that lasted the good majority share of the second half of that race. So
talking about that race, I couldn't help but notice that as I'm scrolling through race control here, scrolling through social media here whilst reading the post-race show, your teammate, with whom we attribute the Project X Racing sticker kit now on the side of your Porsche, by the way, is talking about a pretty cool article in the local newspaper this week for him, for the Street Machine Mode Drag Challenge that kicks off next week. Only 5 minutes ago he posted that. So yes, Will Yarwood still finding a way to run amok in the real world as well as the sim world. When's he actually going to get back on the sim rig, Greg?
When he's back at home. Firstly, I also want to correct myself before. It was actually Tony Baker that I was battling against.
Correct, yeah.
Make sure I get that right. When is Will going to be back in the sim? Most likely when he's not gallivanting off to all parts of Australia for weekends on the go-kart track. Normally we see him in and around the GT3s on a Monday night. So. Yep. Yeah, so there's every chance that when we get the Pro-Am split on the broadcast, if he's around, we'll most likely be able to see him on track. So,
right. Richo's asking me to ask you, I don't know if you saw the comment there right on screen, if someone races for Whiskey Business, would they be willing to still coach someone from the outside that isn't part of the team like Richo?
Oh, look, if Richo wants some pointers, by all means, I'll flick him a Discord invite, though I think I might have already done that, so he's more than welcome to jump in. And the point of stick at the start was giving Paul a bit of a jab for the points that he pinched from me. Paul and Mav were both over in our Discord having for the
of course they were.
The SH1T giggles and whatnot. So, it was a good banter had with everybody over there. So, I mean, if I'll flick Richo a Discord invite if he wants to jump on in, and when we're racing or when we're not racing, feel free to jump on in whenever. So,
I love it. I'm all for it. Now, let's talk about the recovery mode. I mean, obviously, that's the thing about sprint racing, isn't it? You are able to, like, some people are just chucking the tail and say, you know what, bugger it, I'll go watch the cricket. But you stuck around, you saw it through, and you were rewarded with most positions gained in that second race, which is good. But now we reevaluate, we reassess, back into 40-minute mode next week. How do you attack it more?
Hopefully not like that, the race that I'm not going to speak of too much from a couple of weeks back. I do prefer the longer races myself because you can get into more of a groove and it's not so frantic and just, all right, draw. I would probably say at some point there towards the end of the second race, I think I was driving a little bit angry. Just a little bit of red mist might have descended, and surprisingly that I kept it on the road for as much as I did. But after having a few incidents and some car contacts, there goes the potential bonus points for off track. So it's like, how many have I got left? Okay, start cashing them in. So, but no, come race 2, I think it took me about 6 laps before I tagged the first one. So then it was, okay, just try and bring the car home and catch the guys in front of me that I knew that I was potentially faster than. We did have probably a little bit too much wing on the car tonight. Some of the cars were a little bit hard to catch in a straight line. Like Bondi went past me like I was standing still.
Yep.
Just push forward and see where we can get to. So the carrot in front of me was the back end of Dale's car. I was trying to catch him, but I just couldn't quite catch him. I got stuck with Tony Baker for too long trying to argue over the same piece of real estate.
Yep. Actually, we might have to add, there's been talk in the booth in recent weeks about updating the bingo card that we use to play here on the platforms, the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, with regards to, it's like the Zaculator, it's Zac Bingo, any reference that I make, and usually arguing over the same piece of the real estate is one of my favourites. We'll have to add that to the bingo card as well. That bingo card's going to be bigger and better once we redo it. I'm sure there'll be a few of you out there with some ideas on how to contribute to that. If you do have an idea, feel free to chuck it up in the YouTube comments section. Heaney, I believe we don't see you tomorrow night. I'm back in the booth, but you'll be here next week, and I appreciate that in advance. Good luck with everything coming the way of Whiskey Business Racing over the weekend, and we do look forward to seeing you on a Monday night, firmly in the mix here in the Porsche Open Cup at the end of 4 rounds. Let's hope it stays that way in the weeks ahead. You were leading by 35 points coming into the round, so I guess even though it didn't go according to plan tonight, you've got a little bit of a buffer to play with, but firmly in the mix to rewrite the wrongs of last term, mate. Go well.
No worries, and got a bunch of practice on this weekend, or tomorrow night, and probably Saturday morning, because we're 5 of us are tackling the 24 hours of Le Mans on the weekend, so we shall see how we come out in that.
Hang on, when did that move from June to October?
No, this is the iRacing one. So being they run it on the the Global Enduro? No, I think it's the Global Enduro series. It's the iRacing decided to make all of the races in that series 24 hours. I think it's like 2 weeks ago it was 24 hours of Catalonia. I can think of a lot better things to do for a weekend. We're having a crack at the 24 hours of Le Mans in the LMP2. So we're going to jump in on time slot 1 for that Saturday night. So going to give that a go and see how it goes out.
Going to burn the midnight oil again. All right, well, you've got a busy weekend ahead of you. Hey, actually, I just realised one more thing before I get to Bondi. Quick comment. Luke King holding Paul Wilson to task in that second race. So even though you had a bit of a rough run, a good result for the stable nonetheless.
Yes, most definitely. I honestly would have liked to have been trying to hold Paul to a task. But unfortunately was not to be. I think 5 hours around Road Atlanta a couple of weeks ago in an LMP probably screwed up my drive lines in a Porsche around here.
Yeah. Hence why you were already across the new pit lane scenario as well. So
I did make mention of that to a few of the guys in my channel. I'm like, make sure you do a pit entry. And Dale jokingly is like, don't say it in the lobby. Don't say it in the lobby. And we'll see how many it catches out.
Well, I only caught out 1 or 2. Hey, well done, mate. Great result. Good to see you out there. And look forward to seeing what you and Whiskey Business bring to the table in week 5. Go well.
No worries. Cheers.
And from Greg Heaney to the Adelaide Oval, things all of a sudden have got interesting here. Bondi, I know you love your cricket. It's 7 for 260. The Australians have just lost their 7th. Actually, it might be their 8th. I've got to have a look at this and confirm it properly. But they still need 5 to win. Yes, it is. It's 8 for 260. They are 4 away from a tie and 5 away from victory. And based on what I saw earlier in the week in another one-day international, they now play a super over if there's a tie. So they've updated the terms and the rules and the playing conditions. And out to the middle goes poor old Adam Zampa. They have got 25 balls to survive. They need 5 runs to win, and India need to get 2 in 3 runs, or 4 to tie and 4 to super over. The Aussies have started their collapse a little bit later than usual. It's all happening at the Adelaide Oval. Hey, Bondi, I'm glad you stopped in here. Not because we necessarily need to have a chat, because I'm sure, given that it's 25 minutes to 11 Eastern Daylight Time. You two would love to get to bed, and I've got other things that I need to get on with tonight as well, not least continuing my catch-up of home and away. I'm only 2 weeks behind now, go me. But let's have a chat about a couple of things here, mate. Great pace in race one, really flexed your muscle. I mentioned to Dan Carrier during the call that those short, sharp, snappy sprint races are right up your alley. They're right in your wheelhouse because you don't have to worry about fuel saving. You don't have to worry about tyre wear. The race doesn't run long enough. You go like a scalded cat. You throw caution to the wind, and it worked tonight. You put yourself firmly in the mix as far as the invert top 10 was concerned, and third on the grid for race two. So we'll get to race two in a moment, but talk me through race one and how much you enjoyed that.
I enjoyed my entire night a lot. It's been nice coming back to racing in
the Porsche Cup, yes.
double duties. I wouldn't say Porsche Cup. I haven't had to pace in it in recent months, and then tonight I think I've found the form that I used to have in the car, and once I find that, I just attach to the car. I was really happy with how I went in GT4 and Porsche Cup. With not really doing any practice, and then having to jump between two totally different cars. I was really happy with how I performed, pulled out a setup, and then just drove. Really good night, but disappointing that I was taken out in both, but is what it is.
I was going to ask you about GT4, but also the race 2 incident here at Road Atlanta. So let's talk firstly about GT4. That was really unlucky the way in which you were caught up inadvertently. There was nothing you could have done. There was nothing Tony Baker could have done. You were unfortunate collateral damage in his spin. You zigged, you couldn't zag, you couldn't have gone right, you had to go left. Unfortunately, he had too much momentum. He's poleaxed you, but it was a nice recovery all the same, mate, and you had good pace along the way.
Yeah, I was actually shocked with dropping down to, I don't know where I dropped down to, but...
Oh, you're outside the top 10, I think.
Yeah, it was down to like 15th or lower, and then I got my way back up to, was it 7th or something like that?
Yeah, somewhere around that, yeah. 6th, 7th or 8th, yeah.
Yeah, it was really great drive, come back, pretty much just like last night was, and I haven't had much fun in a recent time. When I drop down an order, I usually get penalised for something, but tonight, I didn't get penalised. I just got on the bad luck of other drivers, but couldn't really go anywhere. Didn't try to stay to the right too much. I probably should have went to the left a bit more, but it's what it is. I was just having a bit of fun tonight.
I mean, you can analyse it all you like after the fact. You can't change it in the moment. And secondly, reaction times is a big thing here. A big, determining factor, mate. You had not much time to, once you got around the corner out of your blind spot, to see that Tony Baker was there to then take the appropriate action. But again, you charge back nicely. What are you making of the Mustang in GT4, please?
Probably enjoy that overtake more than the Mustang GT4, but yeah,
true.
I enjoyed that overtake a lot. Yeah, the Mustang, I'm starting to come to terms with it now. I think a lot of it's just getting the setup figured out for that car, and once I've got that figured out, I'll probably be able to find some better form in it. But like I always have in all the cars, as long as I'm within 1.5 seconds of the leader, I'm more than happy, since my main goal here is to just being quick in every car there is and be somewhat competitive. So I'm achieving that, and being in top 10 all sessions and rounds is pretty good, or being thereabouts.
Yeah, and I guess the only other thing I want to ask you about is your thoughts on, just 1 second here, mate, up over the head. Oh, there we go. India has just bowled a wide to hand Australia victory. A wide has been bowled by Arshdeep. to hand Australia victory. Cooper Connolly, 61 not out, 8 for 265. Australia win by 2 wickets. They do so with 3.4 overs to spare, 22 balls, and win the series 2-0, a dead rubber at the Sydney Cricket Ground on Saturday. So wide wraps up the second ODI in front of a packed house in the Adelaide Oval. Now, last one, and then I'm going to let you go because we're over time and I want to wrap up, and I want to get final thoughts from Dan Correa. Can you give me your version of events with regards to the unlucky incident that really put pain to your charge in race 2 with Adam Hayne?
Racing incident. I've went race control, done everything, but yeah, racing incident, nothing more. I think there was a bit of me turning down on him a bit much, but it would have been door-to-door contact still, and it maybe could have made the corner, but I'm not fast really. I still drove a great comeback from 20-something, so I was happy with that race. It gave me a bit more excitement, but definitely left me out of position and wondering what I could have done otherwise.
Imola next week?
No, I'll be in Griffith.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Enjoy Griffith. Karting out there, is there?
Ultimate Club Racer.
Oh, of course. Yeah, a huge weekend out there. Well,
I don't know huge, but yeah, okay.
What a marvellous opportunity for regional New South Wales to reel in some tourism and use motorsport as the opportunity to do that. Let's hope people take the initiative and take the incentive to head out to regional New South Wales. Look, let's be honest, it's a lovely racetrack. It's just a bloody long way to trek. Bonding, thank you, appreciate that. Chat to you a little bit later on.
Yeah, thank you.
So, victories to Adam Hayne and Ben Pedersen and Australia and Andrew Dyson. I'm still getting over Andrew Dyson. That was a masterclass uppercut in Jackson Rayhana's direction, and he took it on the chin very well, did Rayhana. There's no doubt about that. But Dan, great night as always. I'm impressed with how enthralling and captivating Interlargos was, and we knew Road Atlanta was going to bring the fireworks, and it didn't disappoint.
Yeah, 100% agree. That race in Interlargos, the GT4s, man, we were on the edge of our seat all the way up. 35 minutes in, hadn't a clue as who was going to take that race, and then Andrew Dyson apparently just magicked his way to just half the pit stop time of anybody else, and took that with a 5-second lead. So much so that Jackson Rayhana joined us in the booth, and even he was like, "Well, that just happened." So that's when you know you've got something special there. So now that that's sort of out of the bag, as it were, I'm very keen to see how Rayhana specifically comes back to try and combat some of those tactics, or if anybody else has looked at this race and gone, "Oh, there's something to learn here." And then, of course, for the Porsche Cup here at Road Atlanta, 2 fantastic races. Adam Hayne sneaking in, capitalising on the mistakes there in race 1, managed to stay ahead, takes the win there. Unfortunately, not so in race 2, but Ben Pedersen avoids all the pitfalls. His teammate taking one for the team, as it were, when it comes to the pit lane. And Ben Pedersen takes the win on 2. So a great day out for the Riot Sim stable in the Porsche Cup Series. And again, just another fantastic Thursday night motorsport.
As they all are at this time of the year. 4 down, 6 to go, but week 4 not yet done with on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We do it with thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, PanTec Industries, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrci.com, Sprite Insider and Flash Graphics. They're all popping up on the top right-hand side of your screen there. You'll see them across the top and bottom of your screen in just a few moments, I'm sure. Let's have a look at what's coming your way, reminding you that tomorrow night is when we'll update you on the championship situation as far as the Porsches and the GT4s are concerned, as Adam Lavis has obviously got an early start tomorrow morning, so he'll be crunching the numbers after work before we're on air with you tomorrow night. Now, let's remind you of the housekeeping here. Non-broadcast race first up, the skip and slide. They're heading off to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. That'll be a beauty. That's, of course, 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Oh, we missed that one. That's an incident that we're just seeing on screen there for the first time tonight. My goodness. So the whips were cracking up and down the field, it would seem, tonight. Now, as far as our main course broadcast offering is concerned tomorrow night, it's the latest round of the Disruptive Lads Road to Indy NXT series, and that's from the Red Bull Ring. 42 laps, 65 minutes, whichever comes first. Race start 8:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Joe and I will be with you from 8:30. That's 5:30 on the West Coast, 10:30 in New Zealand, and we will look forward to your company then. Of course, we will bring you up to speed with the championship points and the event weather information, everything else that we normally do, that usual housekeeping pre-race. But also, we'll update you on the points for the 2 Porsche splits and also GT4. We will also spin the wheel to determine what car the Mountain Men cohort will be jumping behind the wheel of on Saturday night for their 200-kilometre trek around Mount Panorama Bathurst. That's, of course, coming up 8:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Next week, week number 5, heading towards halfway, ladies and gentlemen. Looking forward to this. The week looks like this up until at least Thursday. This is the week that takes us to the first half, end of the term being complete. And then, of course, we begin that run down the hill towards the checkered flag in week 10. And we'll start with an extended edition of Monday Night Motorsport for you, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at that. Left-hand side, Snetterton 300. We've enjoyed the Toyota racing all season. The Bend offered up a treat. Let's hope they do the same. They've got the right real estate to do so. It's a Snetterton circuit in England. I reckon the 200 is better than the 300, but still 300. The full course configuration around there is the setting for the 5th round of the series. 10 minutes for race 1, 15 for race 2, invert top 10 for race 2 on the starting grid. 7:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, immediately followed by at 8:45 Eastern Daylight Time, the first of the 2 90-minute enduros in the campaign here. Now, make a note of this, it'll be the red. It'll be the Pro and split for you in broadcast mode or trim next Monday night, GT3 Pro-Am, and that will be 8:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. A nice chance for us to showcase what's a very fruitful, very competitive Pro-Am split to this point of the campaign. The second of the 90-minute enduros, which will be week 10, will bring you the Pro split season finale. I hope you can join us for all of that. Daytona International for the Rallycross on Tuesday night. This is non-broadcast, of course. Heats, consolations and finals. Race start 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Immediately followed by the Phillip Island round of the Pro Trucks. Well, that'll be good. It's 3-race super sprint format there for you from 9:20 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So Monday night we run a little bit later because the race start won't be until about 8:50 Eastern Daylight Time. It'll be from it'll be 90 minutes pushing us back to about 10:20 p.m. before we even get the post-race show going. So we're probably with it at about 11 o'clock on Monday night. We'll take a break Tuesday night. But yeah, that'll be the, what are we up to now? It'll be the 6th race of the campaign, which means the back half of the season for the GT3s. There's still 8 races to come there. And I mean, we're looking forward to those. That means there's 3 sprint rounds, 1 60-minute and 1 90-minute in the back half of the term, which means you'll start seeing races from the AM split and the Pro-Am split more regularly in the second half of the term. But yeah, Pro-Am in focus on Monday night. We'll bring that to you live. Wednesday night, Schmidtkin gaming in here, although I'm potentially being drafted in on the 12th of November. There's a bit of breaking news for you. Schmidtkin gaming in here to take you to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park first up for the Trans Ams. The first race is 15 minutes, the second is 25. It's an invert top 10 for that second race at 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Then we go to Sandown for an enduro, and about bloody time too. Sandown losing its enduro status in the real world this year. At least they've got it in the sim world. 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Hope you can join the crew for that one. And then Thursday night, we've already mentioned it. It's a real European flavour. The next Thursday night's double header. It's sprint racing from Brands Hatch. It's a feature race from Imola. It's a 3-race program again, but the 2 races for GT4 and just the one for the Porsche Cup. This is Disruptive Labs GT4 from the United Kingdom. And we're getting that one underway, 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time for you. And, of course, on to Imola for 40 minutes, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The 8th race of the Porsche Cup season. We've already ticked 7 off out of 16 in this campaign. So, sprint and enduro racing on an extended Wednesday night edition. And then, of course, sprint and normal feature mode engaged for your Thursday night doubleheader. Next week, it will be our last full week of racing for October, which means 5/6 of the year will have come and gone, and then we're on the run to the checkered flag, the final 5 weeks of the season. Now, that's done. I'll run you through everything else that's going on this weekend in the real world and the sim world and everything else, etc., and so forth. Tomorrow night in our broadcast from 8:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. But can we just, on the way out, acknowledge the sad news that we all woke up to this morning, and that is that one of the real great guys, one of the real titans of Australian motorsport, one of the real influential figures of the industry, passed away at the age of 80. His name was Gary Rogers, of course. Very famous for giving young blokes a start. It was a breeding ground going through Gary Rogers Motorsport, and you look at the names and the success they've had since leaving and gone on to bigger and better things. You think Garth Tender, you think Scott McLaughlin, now own mates from Fernvale, Ryan Casher spent a year there with him during TCR. I mean, obviously, in recent years, it wasn't just Gary Rogers Motorsport, it was the Australian Racing Group as well. And I know we can sit here and banter about that a bit at times, but really, I stand by my comments many times that I've made here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club since we've been broadcasting, which is the middle of 2020. And that is that the Australian Racing Group and all their associated categories had tremendous momentum behind them at the end of 2019, and then unfortunately the wind got sucked out of the sails as it got cocked around by 2 years of internal bickering and politics from the Australian government with regards to who was an essential worker and what was an essential event, who had money, who didn't, border politics, etc. and so forth. Just all that garbage associated with the spicy cough pandemic. And I really feel for those guys, because I genuinely think there was a place for all those categories to thrive and flourish. And some of them just never really got off life support after normal programming resumed at the end of 2021, the start of 2022. He leaves behind an incredible legacy, does Gary Rogers. We weren't aware, we believed that his passing was sudden. We weren't aware that he was ill. It's left a real sombre feeling around the Australian Motorsport paddock heading into one of the signature events of the season this weekend, of course. So I'm sure there'll be some tributes paid throughout the course of the Gold Coast 500 weekend. He leaves behind an incredible history, an incredible legacy, and he'll be badly missed. There's no doubt about that. So from all of us here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, we send our love, our prayers, our condolences, our well wishes to the Rogers family. And that's not just his immediate family, we mean his motorsport family as well, because we know just how big that is and how many people are really feeling it today. He was 80 years old. May he rest in peace. On behalf of Daniel Correa and all the crew here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, we sincerely hope that you've enjoyed this edition of Thursday Night Motorsport as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you, and we look forward to your company tomorrow night for Night 5 action in Week 4 of Term 4 of 2025. Until then, I'm Zach Cave, and have a great evening, everybody. Bye for now.